Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final show of February 2024. It's going by fast.
God damn, he said final show, and I'm like, wait a minute. Did I miss something?
Look, Ko was getting too passive-aggressive with those Ks in the Discord chat, okay? I can't. I just can't, all right? I can't go through this every Sunday. You know, it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Okay. They're everybody has those little triggers, like those little, like, it only bothers a few people, and K.
Ellipsis.
K is,
for me,
yeah.
I have those banned in my chat. You actually can't type it. No one uses ellipsis unless you're being a piece of shit. That's law.
What does ellipsis mean?
Well, okay. No, that's not true. I do think there is a subsect of ellipsis users that are just incredibly insecure in emo. They aren't trying to be an asshole. They do the little dots because they don't want any type of concrete or finality, especially when it comes to something that could be like a bit confrontational. Like, I feel like that could have been done better. ...
But they're just being an asshole. That's just them being
no, I mean they're trying to, pass on potentially valid feedback, but just not, Then there's the people that do ... space emoji. Like they're trying to get their cake and eat it too, and it's like, I don't know about those people. That's one umbrella. The umbrella of being an asshole is wide and large. You could float on that motherfucker. That's not wrong.
You see, the ellipses for me, I like that.
Really?
I honestly, I take that. It's because I'm kind of hard to take sometimes, and like I'm a little weird, and I do random shit, and then I see the ... and I'm like, you don't know what the fuck I was doing either. Excellent.
Okay, so for you, it represents uncertainty, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It represents, like, I don't know what to say about what I just saw.
Fair. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's just the wide umbrella of being an ass. That's where I fit. That's where it's.
No, and that's absolutely, like, I can completely see it from that standpoint.
Yeah.
I absolutely can. I mean, and there's certain things that absolutely, I'm going to use the word trigger, absolutely trigger me in the chat. And one of them is when anyone says finally, like after like trying to do something for a long time, and finally, and I'm like, you motherfucker. And it's not like I don't take, I suppose I could take it as like, finally, yeah. It's more like,
that's not what that
finally,
is.
God.
Yeah. Finally, I get to see more of this game.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, that's true. You got to beat him to it then, Zeke. That's how you quell that. You say finally, and then you move forward.
Yeah. we used to have a guy in our comedy troupe. It's the preemptive, like do it before they can.
Yeah.
And we used to have a guy in our comedy troupe who was constantly late. And he would come in to the meeting just already mad. Like, brah, I'm already mad about it's like, so we couldn't get mad at him for being late.
Oh,
like,
that's
dude,
messed
that's not
up.
gonna work. That's not gonna work anymore.
Yeah.
You're being late. You can't just come in angry and expect us not to be angry back at you.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Anyways, we can finally start the show. Let's talk. I mean, it's been a busy week for games. There's kind of for whatever reason at the end of February, there's just a crazy amount of stuff that came out this past week, and then From Software decided that they were also going to drop the most anticipated announcement / trailer, I think, in video games potentially. Like, I'll put it up to that magnitude.
GTA 6, but okay.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, GTA 6 is about that.
Close though.
Yeah. I would say right below.
Below
is Elden Ring. Yeah. It literally came out of nowhere. They just posted a tweet that says first reveal trailer for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree will be up in 16 hours. Join us. And the internet kind of went crazy. Did either of you watch it? Have you seen said trailer? If so, what are your thoughts? Are you excited to dive back into Elden Ring as well? Like where's the zeitgeist in y'all's mind at?
I watched the trailer. It looks awesome. I'm gonna do a new run, and I can't wait to play the new stuff.
You're gonna do a whole new run.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. Sure.
Yeah, that's
revisit the game, and
you kind of have to.
Yeah, no question.
I think
man,
have to.
Like, I have 100% in the on my Steam thing. Like, I think. Oh God, hold on. Let me just make sure I have it right. How many hours? Yeesh. Yeah, I have 300 hours apparently in Elden Ring.
Makes sense.
Doing everything, getting all the storylines, getting all the achievements and stuff like that. And the thought of like going back and starting from scratch with a new character, like, it does excite me, but it's one of those things like the joy of discovery.
Yeah.
The joy of discovery was like the meat of that game for me.
Sure.
So like going back and like, oh, I've seen this. Oh, I've seen this. So I'm like struggling whether I should like actually go back and start a new character or just do the DLC from where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I want to do, but I am absolutely just jacked about this. It looks like more of what you want. I want big, scary, weird looking bosses, and they never disappoint me.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same camp. I'm not sure if it's a full new run. I did a randomizer run of this as well during the subathon, and that was that sense of discovery was back because every boss was like, "What's this gonna be?" Right? It's not. You have no idea what's gonna pop up in front of you. That was it reignited the love for the game. So yeah, I'm not sure what it'll be, but regardless, I'm down for the DLC. I also don't know like how long it's going to take. That there's obviously a ton of theories out there in terms of where you go into the DLC and how you get there and all that type of stuff, and what level it'll be and what difficulty and yada 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 yada. There's a billion videos of that, so we'll just have to wait and see what the truth is and play it in June. I wasn't expecting a release date as well, but we got one the end of June, which kind of means that June is going to be crazy packed because we have we got PoE 2 beta, we got this potentially new Final Fantasy 14 expansion. Already the summer's looking pretty good, but I just hope they don't do it all in like the same 2 weeks.
So I got this weird sponsorship opportunity just a couple days before the Elden Ring thing. And it was to watch a trailer I've never seen on stream.
Okay.
Like watch it and react to it and then just talk about the game for like 5 or 10 minutes afterward. And I'd never heard of the game. I did a quick search, looked interesting, and I was like, sure, I'll take that.
Okay.
So the Elden Ring thing came out. And then the next day I was supposed to do a sponsor, and I actually missed it and had to do it the next day. So I'm watching the trailer. It's for this game called Erdtree. It's a Souls-like game, and it's like it takes place in Italy. It has all this, interesting, unique stuff. And then it gets to the end of the trailer, and it's like Erdtree, releasing June 21st, 2023.
That's dead. That's dead in the water.
2024.
2024, but still.
Yeah. Still. It's just like you're bringing attention to the release date of your game. Souls-like game, no less.
They got to move that.
Oh man. Yeah. And the funny part was, and I can be totally, overt with this, is the part of the sponsorship was specifically like while you're watching it and for the next little bit while you have all this stuff in it to not play Souls-like games. Like, because they wanted to keep everything about Erdtree.
Oh.
So it's like they went that far with the sponsorship, but then are releasing on the day that Elden Ring's DLC is. It's just, I almost guarantee you. And to be fair, it'd be smart of the devs to just bump the release up by a week. Like get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Give people something to play while they're waiting for Elden Ring. Like, but yeah, they the ball's kind of in their court right now. But if they can bump it up like a week or hell, even a few days, like they need to get on that right now.
Yeah,
and then they can call it the Elden Ring appetizer.
Yeah. Before you jump into the
exactly, dude. Lean into it, man. Absolutely, lean into
Check
it.
out and
play with that
for a discounted price. Yeah,
like absolutely,
10%. Why not?
Elden Ring DLC discount of 20%.
Yeah. Why not?
But yeah, what's even worse is the game actually looks pretty cool. Like it's super stylized and it's basically like it all takes place in Italy. Its moniker is Sun Souls. It's a Sun Souls like because everything's bright and like artistic and not dark. So like it looks like a crazy game. It could be kind of fun, but
cool.
They need to do something about that release date.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough for sure. Well, we are all very excited for Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh yes,
I think. Are you on media blackout now? After that first trailer, you do not watch anything else?
You know, this is not a Final Fantasy game to me.
Yeah.
Like I mean, sure, you might lose out on that fraction of a second of seeing a boss for the first time on stream, but like I've never really seen Souls-like games at all, like being that story centric.
Sure.
So I don't really mind myself kind of leaning into them for story stuff. So no, I'm not on any kind of blackout for anything Elden Ring.
Yeah. I'll probably watch whatever. It just adds to the hype for me, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. The stuff that is super interesting about those games is, or I should say, the best part about those games is not seeing the boss, but it's beating the boss. So, and that's not something I'm going to get out of a trailer or a, you can't spoil that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't take that feeling.
It's, it kind of, it feels like, you look at a coffee table book of a museum. You're like, oh, there's Michelangelo's David. There's a Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. You get to see a picture of it, but then you actually go to the museum, and it's a completely different thing. That's what it feels like with Dark Souls. Like, I want to look at the pictures of the bosses and like I want to see them, but then when you experience them, that's the good stuff,
Yeah. We can kind of talk a little bit about earnings stuff. There's different numbers floating around for a bunch of different things. Shocking, really, no one. A Warner Brothers executive, the financial officer. Let's go with Gunnar Wiedenfels. Sure. He said that the game has, quote, fallen short of our expectations. So that game apparently did not do well. Shocking. I don't really think anyone at least in our industry, maybe in the industry outside, in the business realm, thinking you could just like tie Suicide Squad to something. But yeah, it didn't sell that well. Definitely nowhere near like what Hogwarts did last year, which was the best selling game of the year for Warner Brothers and just in general. So not a big shocker there. Nintendo is the richest company in Japan when it comes to cash holdings. They have $11 billion with zero debt. So if you ever wonder why they're slow on putting out new hardware, it's because they don't fucking care. They're doing just great. 11 billion and zero debt. They're just raking it in, just printing money. Really for the past
ever.
What? How long has the Switch? Has it been a decade? When did the Switch launch? I was gonna say the past generation, but the last one was the Wii U, and that didn't do well at all. 2017. So 7 years. Not quite a decade, but yeah, they're doing well.
Still. That's a long time in the life of a console.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I think
what is the watch like the accepted like this is how long a console usually lasts? Is it like 10 years or is it less than that?
Totally depends on the console.
Yeah,
and the competition.
I think it depends on exactly. I don't know if there is. I think if you were to look at each generation release, they've probably gotten shorter than normal, just because of how fast tech is advancing. But I think like 6 to 7 is about that. I think like the 360 era was pretty long. The PS4 era seems short by comparison, but it might have just been as long. I don't.
PS2 lasted a long time.
Yeah. But
I just wondered if there was like an average like lifespan.
Excuse me.
Yeah, most people are saying like between 6 and 8 years.
Yeah, that seems about right. There's a ton of rumors floating around about the Switch 2. I haven't dove into any of that stuff, but there's like rumored leaks, spec sheets, dates, all that stuff. I think the rumor is that it's supposed to happen early next year now. It got pushed back, but I'm not too up to date on all of the information on that stuff. So we will see whenever we maybe hear about that in June during Summer Game Fest week. That hurt to say. I don't like that.
It's no E3, baby. E3 was
G3.
so easy.
G3.
Sucks. Whole thing sucks.
I think Jeff Cella's fine.
Jeff, maybe, yeah.
You could just call it G3, and it could be Jeff's Glorious Games. And that way, it's like almost the same as what it was before.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Speaking of G3, by the way, PC Gamer put out a featured co-streamer list for the PC Gamer show this summer, like this past week. Co, you're on that list. Did you know that?
Wait. What?
Yeah, one of my viewers came to me and said, like, how come you're not on this like official co-streamer thing but Co is? And I said, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Why would they put out a co-streaming list?
I mean, they was it from last year?
No, this was for this year. I'll find the article.
I'm guessing it might be one of those things that I do. I get these in the mail like, hey, you've been selected. Would you like the opportunity to co-stream this event? And I just go, the only thing, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Very well could be that. The only thing I could think of is there was like, so they did that panel thing last year. They brought in like a bunch of industry people and, and they did, I don't know if you remember, they brought in like a bunch of streamers and industry people. They had like the council.
Yes, I do recall that.
So they invited me onto that, but I didn't realize what it was and turned it down. And then later when I found out what it was, I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll help you out. And they were like, cool, we'll include you in future stuff. So I think that might be who this is.
This list, the list is
and maybe
long.
That's why they just popped me on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Little weird for sure, but
I'm guessing what's going to happen is just like they do every year. We'll send out that tweet where it's like, hey, watch the PC Gamer Show. Let us know your Twitch stuff, and then we'll probably just add you to the list. I'm assuming it's the same.
I was surprised that like it's the end of February and like there is an official co-streaming list for the PC Gaming Show in June, I guess. Is when do they even say? Oh no, it just says summer 2024. Yeah. So a weird thing, regardless.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, the timing on that was a little strange, but I'm just like every year, I'm guessing they'll just do open invites.
Yeah, I would suspect the same as well. This one was a little bit of a shocker, and it actually kind of made me interested as someone who buys completely pointless technology. The PSVR 2 is going to add PC support in 2024. You're going to be able to hook that thing up to a PC.
Yeah, but what's weird is they specifically didn't mention that apparently the library will be moving over too, which has opened up some questions because a lot of people were originally like, "Oh, cool, you can play all your PS2 VR games on your PC," and then it was like, "No, they're not announcing that the games are coming out for PC." So it's this weird like, what is it going to be used for? Are they like opening up an SDK? Like what exactly is happening?
Yeah.
So, like for instance, I don't think it says anything about like the Horizon VR game, which is one of the bigger ones. You know, that's not, I don't think, coming to PC or anything. So, we'll have to see where it goes.
It wasn't even that big in the blog post. It wasn't like they were just talking about games that are coming up. And then kind of at the bottom of this, it just said, also, we're pleased to share that we're currently testing the ability for PSVR 2 players to access traditional games on the PC to offer even more game variety in addition to the PSVR 2 titles available through PS5.
See, it specifically says additional games.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're just going to make it so you can just use the VR headset in lieu of like an Index or a Quest and just play like all the stuff on Steam.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't used mine, so I can't tell you if it's good or not.
Oh, you bought? I didn't even know you bought the PSVR 2.
Yeah, I think I got it a while ago. I think I was flirting with the idea of trying the Horizon game and then ended up just not doing it. So
yeah.
We'll see.
The PSVR 2, the PSVR, if like as far as I remember, it was the most like cost effective or like the cheapest. Say,
yeah.
Is it still the same? Is that still the case? PSVR 2 is cheaper than
PSVR 2 is. I think it's. I want to say it's 500. I'm opening up the thing. It's just for PSVR 2. It's $549.99. If you get the bundle, it's $50. It's $599.99. So it's pretty pricey. The Quest is $500. Quest 3, so it's right there about the same. And then the Apple Vision, not really the same, but kind of the same, is $3,500. So
right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like as far as like I haven't tested out the Quest 3 or the Quest or any of those. But I remember after owning 3 VR headsets, the PSVR was still like it was the most comfortable to wear, and it was the cheapest, and the games were great. Like I really enjoyed like the first party games that they had for it. So like this is good news all around, man. The PSVR like is still like the VR headset that I recommend to people.
Yep. It's not bad. What else do we got? I mean, there's been Arrowhead, the CEO, the game Helldivers. It's just been kind of one of the big news things, I think, over the past week. The CEO has made a lot of different statements on Twitter, all very positive and favorable statements, to be clear. Like, none of them are... He's not saying the wrong things. He's saying pretty much everything correctly.
He is a very real dude.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Somebody brought up a tweet that was very interesting, and I remember reading it and being like, I don't think so, but now that you've said it, I'm not sure. So somebody says that? Somebody said that how incredibly obvious it is that CEO's tweets are done by a PR company. And my initial response was, no, of course not. He's actually of course it's actually him. Of course, it's a real person. And that kind of led to the discussion where it's like, yeah, but do you think he sends the tweets to a PR company first? And I was like, probably not.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't think so.
And then they're like, haven't you noticed they've all been really favorable and positive? And I was like, yeah, but I'm sure he's just a really good CEO. And like they kept saying questions, and I kept being more like,
wait, so did they sway you over? Do you think this is all PR bullshit? I don't think it is. He just seems like a chill guy.
He seems super genuine and cool, and his tweets seem really good. But at the same time, it's like every one of his tweets is a home run, so it's like...
Man, don't let that cynicism fucking affect you. What the hell?
I don't know. Well, the point is that he's I for the record, no, I didn't get fully swayed. No, I think he's just a good CEO. But I will say, he is a standout CEO.
Yeah.
He's way more connected, way more real. Like he's made some statements that have been kind of hard line, but not controversial, which is an interesting line to cross. So like like someone on my chat says, he's good, too good. Yeah.
Well, that's the internet in a nutshell these days.
I know, right? I know. Yeah. Probably we're just going to find out later that there's no CEO and they just chat GPT.
Oh God.
I know, but
things don't be true.
But no, he seems super cool, seems very connected. And the whole Helldiver situation has been very positive. So
yeah,
he's doing a good job, man. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, seems like the servers are fine now, and they're getting. I don't know what. I haven't looked at like the Steam DB charts to see where they're charting. Looks like they peaked 458,000 on PC. And then you add in whatever's on PlayStation to that. 24-hour peak was 446. I want to say they raised the cap to 800,000 players just across the board. So still doing well, still selling well. It's number 3 right now as of this very exact time on the show. And yeah, it doesn't seem like to be letting down. I think for me, the big test for that game is whatever they push is like the first update. Whatever new is added to it, that'll set kind of where that game, I think, lives in my rotation and my whatever, my head, I suppose, moving forward. Because I got like, is it going to be a big update? Is it going to be small incremental stuff? Is it going to be?
That's what I'm wondering. I tend to almost never return to games that do small incremental updates. I just don't. There's never like. You need to have an impetus. You need to have something to that, like a switch in your mind that goes, oh, that's a good reason to go and do that. Like, Terraria, giant 1.6 patch, Stardew Valley, big 1.5 patch, like a lot of these companies really do it right, where they'll do a patch and implement like huge new features, new areas, like Core Keeper, Stardew Valley, Terraria, all great examples of that being done. Then there's other companies, I hate to say it, like there's a game called Palia. And I was just talking to someone last week about Palia updates, and they're like, yeah, I'm kind of waiting to return, but every time I read the update stuff, it's nothing interesting, and it's all tiny, and I don't want 3 new things to build and a new NPC to talk to. I want like a bunch of new, I want a reason to go back.
Yeah.
And it's a great example of, if Helldivers does like, oh, here's 1 new mission type and a gun, every 3 months. It's just like, nah. But if it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, we're putting in a new faction and 8 new missions and 10 new weapons and all this stuff, it's like, well, looks like I'm playing Helldivers. I don't want to, but now I have to because this update's so big, I got to play it.
Right.
That example was like, it reminded me of in one game, Valheim did like, I was just on the tippy edge of like, I'm almost done with this game. And then they came out with like the Hearth and Home or whatever.
Uh-huh.
That
I remember that update.
And I was like, oh, what is that? Decoration?
Yeah. But then the update after that,
you know what? I'm done. And then it was like, new biome. And I went, I'm back.
New biome, new buildings, new enemies, new boss, new magic system. Like, you can't, if you like the game, it's like, you got to play it at that point. And they're doing it again with Ashlands. Like, and I don't want to play Valheim again, but now I have to play Valheim again because they're putting in a new biome. So,
yeah.
It's that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I think mechs is the word, the phrase, the thing that's been floating around there in terms of player controlled mechs. So
heard that too.
That sounds great. Love to see what that actually looks like, how that plays, how that messes with the like power dynamic of that game, which is
going to be interesting.
In a really good spot, I would say, especially towards the upper difficulties. So hopefully they don't like break that. You might be hearing stuff in my room, Zeke, if that's what you're.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're mech specific missions that are balanced only for the mechs, which could be interesting. I'm also curious, like how they're going to implement it. Do you actually drop in on a mech? Are they going to limit how many players can be in a mech? Is it going to be like either everyone's in a mech and everyone's not in a mech? Like it's a lot of questions that come around with that. So we'll have to see how they do it.
Yep. Should be good. Regardless, we'll definitely check it out.
And then how are the mechs going to work with the techs? Because tech mechs is definitely delicious and important to think about as well.
I'd love a taco right now, like a bean and cheese, like straight from with like the flour, like dusty flour tortilla, just fresh and hot.
That's
I want a
spicy democracy.
I want a chimichanga with a side of democracy.
That'd be pretty tasty. Pretty tasty.
Could you hold the freedom but extra liberty, please?
Hold the how dare you?
Okay. Freedom on the side.
There we go.
Freedom little cup on the side, please. Thank you.
Okay. Little cup of freedom.
What is his exact title? The Sony president and PlayStation chairman, Hiroki Totoki. That was a really fun name to say.
Hiroki Totoki.
Yeah, Hiroki Totoki. In a financial results briefing from Sony, was talking about Bungie. And he straight up said that Bungie needs to be better at, quote, assuming accountability for development timelines. Kind of a bold statement, just to rip into Bungie right there. The full quote, full context is, quote, I visited the Bungie studios and had meetings with the management, and I saw the employees working at the studios were highly motivated, showing great creativity as well as impressive knowledge of live services. However, I also felt that there was room for improvement from a business perspective with regard to areas such as the use of business expenses and assuming accountability for development timelines. I hope to continue the dialogue and come up with some good solutions. So he's not even like, yeah. I mean, he just, if I'm at Bungie and I hear that, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, really. It's just like, okay.
And maybe everyone not at like the executive level at Bungie was just like, finally, like, Jesus Christ. This is what we're trying to say. I don't know though. That's wild for me to read that.
I guess we're gonna have to do away with free Diamond Watch Friday.
Yeah. I don't know what it looks like internally at Bungie. You hear a couple things every once in a while. You see a couple tweets, but that makes it seem like,
well,
it's a mess in a lot of ways.
I wonder if that's like affected by the Bungie layoff debacle.
Sure, it
Sony,
is. Yeah,
Bungie thing and everything.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
Yeah,
I do have something to add to earlier though. You said that was a fun name to say. I don't know why. This is one of my long-term memories.
Okay.
When I beat Final Fantasy VII with a buddy for the first time ever. We actually sat there and we read every name in the credits. And there was one name that we actually decided, and this is back when I was mid-teens, I think. One name that we decided was the most fun name to say out of every single name in the Final Fantasy VII credits. I don't know what the guy does. I don't even, this is 20 years later. I don't even know if it's a real person. But I remember for literally 2 decades being like, the most fun name is Go Kikuchi. Go Kikuchi.
So G-O.
G-O. I'm 99% sure was his first name. And then it was like Kikuchi. And we literally just ran around the house yelling this guy's name. K-I-K-U-C-H-I? Go Kikuchi? I don't know. Is that a real name?
I don't know.
You know what? I've never actually Googled it.
Kikuchi. I just tried.
Hey, go Kikuchi!
He's there.
Known for Final Fantasy VIII, Super Smash Bros., Parasite Eve, Ace Combat 5. Yes! Character animator in the battle section. Go Kikuchi, your name's amazing, and we appreciate you.
Go just like Dude. Like he met an old friend for the first time in decades.
Oh man, my boy Go Kikuchi even worked on Parasite Eve. I know, right? What a goat!
Oh shit, Parasite Eve. Now you're speaking my language.
That guy is a goat. Damn.
Bro.
I'm gonna.
So anyway, if you ever see Go Kikuchi, tell him Co said hi.
Okay. All right.
A similar vein, but do you ever pronounce your name backwards? Like you spell it backwards and you pronounce it if you know what your name says backwards.
No, that's an insane.
My name backwards would be Araka's Ready Yerk.
Only insane people know that.
My first and last name. Okay, maybe that's just a thing maybe that's just a thing my family did. Because my dad really did. That.
Did you really pull one of those? Like, my last name would be like,
that's probably why people are amazed when their names are spelled backwards, like on their Twitch name. And I notice it. I'm like, oh, you are blah, blah, blah. Or actually, I just notice it. But
bro, you got a skill. I'm not even necessarily following what you're saying the right way, let alone the wrong way.
Oh my fucking God. You know what?
No, one of my mods had the greatest comment, Zeke, and it actually I think is correct. He said, "That's a theater kid thing."
Oh,
okay.
And it
could be.
I mean, that makes sense.
Well, the reason why I brought it up is because the best name that I've ever heard to say is someone's name backwards. Her name is Barbara Bateson, and her name backwards is a Rab Nose Tab.
How did we get here?
I'm glad that we did that.
A Rab Nose Tab?
Barbara Bateson backwards.
A Rab Nose Tab. Okay. I like it.
Hold on. Did you tell this person, hey, you know what your name is? Did you just go up and tell her? Or is this just have you ever met Barbara Bateson?
No.
To this day, a Rab Nose Tab is not familiar with the fact that her name is hilarious backwards.
No. Some people just are, man. Well, you said that we were on the subject of funniest names to say, and I had to give a little context, and it stretched out way longer than it should have.
Oh, this whole segment has.
This is great.
This should have been done like, I shouldn't have even brought up my thing. Like, oh, man.
Oh, man.
Skellen says, Zeke is a national treasure and must be protected at all costs.
I agree. I'm glad that we're here. The two of you, maybe not, but I'm on board. It's good. You guys hear the new name for Project L?
Is it a Rab Nose Tab?
It might actually be worse. Project L's new name, the fighting game from Riot Games, is...
Oh, right. I did.
2XKO.
Oh, that's what... I saw the memes about that, but I didn't know what that was referring to. That's what? Really?
2XKO is the fighting game from Riot Games.
Why?
I'm not a fan.
It's horribly generic. Like, it means nothing. There's no flavor at all.
I'm guessing it means like Street Fighter, you win two, you knock them out twice, you win, right?
Well, I think there's it's a 2v2 game, right? You pick two characters. And so I think it's like there's 2 times the knockout, 2 times the KO.
Is it the number 2XTO?
No, 2XKO.
Pronounced. They made a point of saying it's pronounced exactly like it's spelled.
Yeah.
2XKO.
Tuxco? Is that how you pronounce it?
No.
It's Tuxco?
It's 2XKO.
No, you pronounce it how you
spell it. That's how it's spelled.
I'm not a fan of the name, but
the name's terrible. The name is actually terrible.
I don't know if it's the type of thing too where like once we say it enough and once it's out, if I'll come around to it. But
saying 2XKO, that's 4 syllables. There has to be a short version. So you don't call it.
You can't even acronym.
You can't call it 2X because that means nothing. You can't call it KO because that's like that means something else. Like, they didn't think about this at all, dude.
You just gotta say 2XKO.
Funny thing is, I think it would be better if they just called it
2KO?
X2O?
XXKO.
XXKO? I would have just said leave it at Project L.
Project L's a better name.
Yeah.
If just call it Project L, at least sounds cool.
Didn't the L stand for lion Spanish? As well? Like that? Not
in Spanish, it's Dos Equis. Dos Equis KO.
What's it stand for? I think it stands for 2 times knockout. You have to knock them out twice, which is a standard fighting game mechanic. 2XKO. But that's the problem with the name.
That's a frat house drinking game.
Is that it's dumb. That's the problem. Like that'd be like. Well, I was about to say that'd be like calling a fighting game Face Punch, but honestly, that'd be a better name. So it's not like that.
Dive Kick is a pretty badass name.
That's true. Absolutely, Dive Kick works. Absolutely, but no, it's weird. It's just such a weird name, and you can't make it short. And the big thing about it is there's zero flavor. There's no taste. There's no identification. There's no.
Is there League of Legends like things in it? Since it's right.
Yeah, it's League of Legends characters.
It's League of Legends characters.
It is, okay.
It's all the League characters. Not all of the League. There's not 100 characters, but they're pulling from the League of Legends roster.
Oh, somebody, kind of random side question. Somebody said, asked me this yesterday, and I wasn't 100% sure. Somebody said, does Valorant, is it related at all to League of Legends? No. I don't think so.
No, those are two different universes, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Valorant is its own universe.
I don't play either, so I was like, I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like, could Valorant take place in the future of that universe or something? Is there any, like, connection at all?
Probably not, yeah. Valorant's storyline is that there's two different, there's two parallel universes, and so that's why you have, like, characters that are the same character fighting each other in a 5v5, is because there's two different universes. And so and the storyline going between it is like, which one is the bad universe, which one's the good universe, and they're kind of like merging together type deal.
I have the perfect name that they should have went with. Let's Fighting LOL.
Let's fighting LOL.
Exactly. Come on, dude.
I like it. I'm on board with it. It's better than 2XKO.
Jesus. Yeah. 2X KO.
Hey, let's go Kigasuru. I saw them perform that live and it was awesome.
Somebody just goes, LFL is a league in League of Legends.
Oh.
So unfortunately, I don't think that would work, but it's a great idea.
Maybe not. Yeah. This one, I still don't know why.
2X Rara nose tap. Yes, there we go. See, they should have just hired you for Riot.
Into everything, and we're gonna laugh.
That's right.
Is it? Exactly I think we've got a new inside joke now. I think that
no one's gonna have
Captain
any
America.
idea.
Yeah,
that's not going away.
We're gonna have
soon.
Phil Spencer on. It's like, well, why didn't you call the new Xbox Rah nose tab? It'll be like,
I know, right?
Get it right. It's a
we just watch him
rab
nose tap. Oh, thank you so much. He just walks off the show. He just leaves.
Just leaves.
He's like, I don't have time for these dumb memes. I don't. Oh my god.
Oh god. Do you guys remember Gigantic, the game? Is that something that you have a memory of at all?
Never played it. I remember it. It was here, and then it was not.
Yeah.
It was a very quick process.
I see the font of the title of the game in my mind. Like, I see it.
Yep.
But I don't remember what the game was about.
Was
it like Big Monster versus little?
It was a
MOBA
hero shooter.
Yeah. It came out kind of during the Overwatch era, I guess, and shut down in 2018. But for some reason,
played it sponsored.
Yeah, I think we did do sponsored streams for it. I remember doing that. It's back.
Carnage.
April 9th. It's coming back. Gigantic, the Rampage Edition. It's being sold as a paid game. It'll add new features such as crossplay across all the platforms, have a new ranked system, which will be coming post-launch, have quality of life updates, as well as previously unreleased content that they never had the opportunity to add to the game during its live service. I don't, it's $20 with free updates on it. I guess they're just trying to like cash in on the IP. Like they've got all those assets and they're like, fuck it. Let's put it out there. $20. We maybe make some money. It's been 7 years. It just seems wild that that's a thing that they're doing, a thing that actually like got cleared by a business to put out that game. I don't remember. No, I've never heard anyone saying, I fucking love that game, bro. I played the shit out. I wish that game came back. Like, it's not something I've ever heard about Gigantic.
I will say, when you were asking about it at the beginning of this section, a lot of people in chat said it was fun.
Really? But
yep.
Fun, and was it like that game was fun with an ellipses? Because those people are assholes, first off. And then second.
When the game came out, did they go, finally?
We got, yay, it's coming back. I played it yesterday, says somebody. I want that back, says somebody else. Was an awesome game. It was really fun.
Okay.
It was so fun. Yeah, I mean, the game was pretty decent. Game was fantastic. So, I mean, there are people out there that were
they've got some marks. Yeah, they'll make 20 bones off those folk.
Every one of those statements had an ellipsis, though. What does that mean?
Oh, God.
Dude, it looks like I don't remember it at all. I just remember the font of Gigantic. like in that like
the
turquoise
reason
bluish font, and it looks like it's a Disney villain fighting game.
Yeah. The reason is because it was out during the Overwatch heyday, right? So like Overwatch, just this giant, it cast this giant shadow over that entire genre. And this was one of the games that never really got out of it. I don't think it sucked away a little bit of the player base of Overwatch, but
it was the Lawbreakers.
Yes, it was the Lawbreakers.
I didn't play this one, but do you guys remember like there was another MOBA that was it was dubbed the mobile MOBA. That was the one that was like their tag. And they were all over like Twitch booths and shit like that for like a little while.
Oh yes,
I don't remember the name of that game, but I remember what you're talking about.
Was that Battle? No, it wasn't Battleborn.
No,
was it?
It wasn't Battle Right.
I remember it if someone says it.
I remember there was a game called Battle Right.
Vainglory.
That's it. That was it.
God.
That was it. Vainglory.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow. The reason why I said that's the only MOBA I ever actually played, and or like they flew me down for like a it wasn't Twitch Rivals then, it was like Salty Tournament or something like that.
Yeah.
Salty Bet Tournament or whatever.
Yeah. And they flew me down to Twitch because I was the personality hire on the team.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Because I wasn't good at it. I was just the one that was, the most animated. Like you got these serious players that are like really good, and I'm like, how do you do the thing? How do you shoot the guys? Like that was my job. I think I played it pretty well.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Vainglory.
Yeah, they spent so much money on advertising that game. Like it was crazy. That was one of the at the time, that was one of the largest pushes we had seen across Twitch.
Yeah.
It was years ago though.
It's true.
Years ago.
It was a while back.
It was released in 2014.
I don't like. I think I'm going to ban dates from my.
You know what? Just ban time. Just the whole concept.
If you've got a fucking calendar, I don't want to hear about it.
Do you know what time it is? Because I don't, and I don't care.
That's exactly right.
No, the only ones that I will allow
you see
Mega Man timing.
No, what?
I will allow that. I will allow if you put it's coming out on January 2nd, 20XX. I will accept that.
Oh, yeah.
Mega Man timing. I love it.
It's true.
I was wondering where you were going with that. I was like,
yeah.
Mega Man.
Oh, it's true. Keeping up with the Palworld player count, they have exceeded 25 million players. 15 million of those purchased, 10 million through Xbox Game Pass. That's fucking crazy. Like it can't
actually crazy.
15 million sold is just like that's insane. Like, games do not sell that much. That is not a normal occurrence. And the fact that they did 15 million, I hope that like a documentary team, as soon as that game started to sell, swooped in and was like, please let us put a camera in your fucking office or something. Because I would just love to see that studio transform over the next year.
Are you listening, No Dwyer? Get on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's, that's crazy. It's just an insane amount of money that is being pumped into that studio. And that's it. That's the news story. It's just 25 million players. It's crazy.
Good for them, dude.
Yeah, huge congrats
for
to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time that like a Pocket Monster style game has ever like appealed to me and actually kind of grabbed me.
Yeah. It deserves it for sure. That's kind of it in terms of big news. There was a Harada, the Tekken god. What is even his title? The game director, chief producer of action/fighting games. But he's kind of the Tekken guy. He had a pretty cool tweet that he quote tweeted saying yesterday Tekken 5 was released 19 years ago. He was kind of talking about the development process of how that game went. I'll just kind of read it in full. Said, at the time, no one scolded us for such a way of proceeding because we were all immature. Porting and development was going on at a much faster pace with much lower labor costs, us and others too, than now. Now it is completely different. Everything has become huge. All costs have skyrocketed, and it takes a lot longer. As games have become a major industry, many stakeholders have emerged. There are more and more, quote, self-proclaimed game industry people, end quote, and executives who are not creators, do not have development experience, and do not directly face the voices from the fan community. Come to think of it, it seems like every year there are more and more people who, when I try to do something with an idea, tell me, quote, don't do it just because of an idea or passion, end quote. I've done a lot of things with an idea, and that's why we have the foundation we have today, but I guess the people who don't have experience in making things don't understand that. Well, that is how this matures, this field has become. Nevertheless, no matter how well planned and smart you are, no one can guarantee that a game will be successful until the very end. This is the only thing that hasn't changed much. That was kind of a profound statement from someone as like prolific as Harada in the industry, and I really wonder what prompted that. Like what internally around Tekken 8 made him think about Tekken 5 in that way, or if it was just a statement that he put out because he was feeling a certain way. I don't know. It's not the only thing though. Was it the Tekken shop? The Tekken shop was announced this week. They added the Tekken shop, which is basically MTX to the game. And he was on like the panel talking about that, but I wonder if that was...
Oh, Dying Arrows in my chat says they had just recently gotten a torrent of ish for opening the Tekken shop.
So maybe it was about
maybe
that,
it was a response thing. Yeah.
I wonder if, I don't want to read too much into that statement.
Nartab says, so people don't appreciate the MTX shop? How rude.
Yeah, I wonder if he's just...
Yeah, crazy.
That makes me wonder if that was forced upon him by the quote-unquote self-proclaimed game industry people.
It's interesting because you have to think about when those franchises get that big.
Yeah.
And they start becoming actual major cash cows for these giant corporations, it must be so unnerving as somebody who created the games to see this kind of stuff happen and not be able to comment on it if you don't agree with it. So it makes me wonder, if statements like that, if you read into it enough or maybe knew the right thing to read for, maybe he's trying to publicly be like, I don't like this at all. Somebody stop this from happening. I didn't agree with this. I wonder if there's more nuance in there.
Yeah.
That, remember back when it was good? We didn't deal with this shit,
Yeah.
That was fun, right, guys? But yeah.
It's an interesting thing. It's on Harada_Tekken if you want to read the full tweet. It's not a twit longer. It's now a zeet. There's no more. Does twit longer even exist anymore? You know what? Let's move forward.
You could do 4,000 characters now. It's not a thing.
Okay. All right. You don't need to. Though. Yeah, that's it for my news. Anything else you guys saw that came up? Anything in your chats that you want to bring up?
I've just been I was expecting this month to be somewhat empty.
Same.
And I'm just completely inundated with games I want to play. There's entire games that I would normally feature on my channel, but I don't have time to play right now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's I'm more busy this month than I almost think I was at any point last year. Which is really weird. We had a lot of releases last year, but they were pretty spaced.
They were pretty spaced.
Then we had this big shotgun in the middle of this month. And then Helldivers came out of nowhere. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Baldur's Gate into Starfield maybe, but that's just two massive games. This past week had Helldivers. You'll lump it in there because it's still super big.
Absolutely.
Helldivers, Pacific Drive, Last Epoch, Balatro. What else
Sons
am I
of the Forest?
Sons of the Forest 1.0.
People still playing Palworld.
Yep, Palworld's still a big deal.
And then me personally, I still had Baldur's Gate 3 and Yakuza.
You started up two long playthroughs.
I had to completely stop my Baldur's Gate 3 run for now. That's just on pause.
Yeah.
And I'm now I had to promise basically to people that I would do an hour of Yakuza a day. So I'm doing 4 different games a day in 3 streams. Trying to keep up with all this stuff going on.
That's too much. Nightingale. Yeah.
Nightingale. That's right. Nightingale. Deep Rock Survivors.
Yes.
Also that's great. An awesome game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just decided not to play any of them, I guess.
Yeah. You're doing.
I played a little Nightingale.
Okay.
The best part is that all of these games have been cool. Like
yes.
Every one of these games has come out. It's not like these are like, little like flash of pan games that maybe a few people play and then no one will play. Like all of the Pacific Drive is awesome. The last Epoch 1.0 is great. Apparently Sons of the Forest 1.0 is really good and they added a ton of new stuff. Deep Rock Survivors,
really? Okay.
I like better than Vampire Survivors. Like you can just go down the list and it's like Nightingale has a huge amount of potential. It's a lot of fun and a lot to do. It still needs some work though. But there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
Apparently a Terminator game came out. I didn't even see that. People have been asking me about a Terminator game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was not aware of that. Where do we want to begin then?
I did actually say I did play. I did get a little hooked on Balatro.
Yeah. I haven't played that yet. I've been kind of wary of jumping in because I don't need another new addiction.
It's a poker roguelike.
Yeah.
And it's super fun.
Oh.
Like it's
it's good.
And we forgot the biggest release. Skull and Bones.
That is true. Some people are still playing that.
Yeah.
I think I saw that
Vanishers also.
Yeah, which is actually a pretty good
game.
Pretty good game. We talked about that last week. I think there was a report about Skull and Bones that it didn't sell over 1 million or it sold just at 1 million.
Somebody in my chat actually mentioned that when we were talking about the sales figures earlier of Palworld. You said and Skull and Bones didn't even sell 1 million. Yeah,
so InsiderGaming.com, Tom Henderson said that he learned via sources that the game currently has around 850,000 players total. At the time of writing, that was 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. Which includes those who opted to play the game with the 8-hour free trial provided by Ubisoft. At the moment, players are seemingly fairly engaged, blah, blah, blah. And I think
Ubisoft isn't public with its player numbers, right?
No. And there's no Steam DB because it's not on Steam. It's all on Ubisoft.
Yeah, I definitely searched Steam and it was like, there are 0 players playing Skull and Bones. And I was like, oh, it checks out.
Yeah.
But then I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, it's not available. It's not a thing. But Grand Blue Relink. Yeah, there's been February was crazy for game releases. I have not experienced a month like that. And to be fair, we haven't even talked about kind of the Goliath that's coming out later this week is the new Final Fantasy VII game Rebirth, which
that's the release of this month.
Which reviewed, I think it had, at least at the launch, I don't know what it is now, but it had
all over the place.
Had 94 or 93 Metacritic with like 60 reviews. Tons of comments about like being one of the best games they've ever played. I mean, you could really go as some of those comments are wild in terms of where they put that game. So
Tifa was enhanced.
Yeah, Tifa. There's some Tifa stuff out there on Twitter. if you're interested,
I saw the GIF of the beach scene. I was like, good for them.
Yeah,
good for them.
Yeah, I have not seen that yet. I'm on somewhat of like. Do
you mean like them, the dev team, or do you mean like them?
I think he means them. I think the second, cool. Maybe both.
Gotcha.
Yeah, might be both. Yeah. But yeah, that game reviewed incredibly well.
The plot was enhanced. Yes, it was.
It was indeed.
Plot was enhanced.
And people are going a little crazy with that Tifa stuff, by the way. I saw the images. I didn't see the beach scene, so I haven't seen that. But I saw people were like, they enhanced her stocking. Her leggings are now actually leggings. And like where the legging ends on her thigh, the skin like has a little crease thing. So it's like tight where so they don't fall down. And it's like, oh my fucking God. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So get ready for that. The Italian Senate will have some new content, I guess, later this week. via Final Fantasy.
I want to be in the same boat as you, JP. But I remember as an adolescent looking at the catalogs that would show up on our doorstep, be like, I think I see an outline of a nipple right there, and just like staring at like the bra ads and like the fucking like Sears catalog, and it's like, yes, I'm old enough to know what getting catalogs delivered to your house was like.
Oh God.
I'm a proud Scrambled channel viewer myself, from back in the day.
That's how you date yourself. Yeah. That's how you date. That's how you date.
There you go.
How it goes. Anyways. Yeah. Video game releases.
I like how someone in my chat's like, yep, channel 22 here. Check it in.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Groove.
Yeah, there you go.
Mine was oddly enough, like if you had a high enough like dial, like mine or whatever, mine was channeled like think 98.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine was 90s, end of the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where that would go. That's where that would go. All right, let's start talking about some of these games that we've played the past week. Zeke, you said Balatro, you're playing in your off time, you're enjoying it. It's the card game.
You love gambling. How is it?
It's not really.
No.
I mean,
I say this seriously.
I love that segment. You're a degenerate gambler. Let's talk.
I did not, sir.
No. Like, sure.
Yeah,
there's
K
gambling
dot
in
dot.
But it's a roguelite. Roguelite does appeal to the gambling instinct, to the gambler's instinct.
Yes.
In any roguelite, it's you hedge your bets to try and like get the best percentages, like percentage outcomes and stuff like that. That's been a thing for most roguelite. It's people call it, like in roguelite it's called proc.
Yeah.
How often does it proc?
Yep.
Like, and that's a lot of this is very much like, okay, you hedge your bets towards certain things. Like, as you can see, like my list right there, it shows all of the hands, all of the poker hands you can get. And you can see my flush is at level 7. You can upgrade every poker hand to be more powerful, give you more chips.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So that's basically how the game works is you have 3 levels, or not 3 levels, 3 opponents every level. And then I think it's to face the final, I think it's 9. It's either 8 or 9 of those like 3 enemy setup. So you face 3, go on to the next one, face 3, go on to the next one, face 3, go on to the next one. And along the way, you get like these modifier cards. You can get cards that make these turn cards from one suit to another suit. But the main mechanic is jokers, the joker cards. And actually, for a little tidbit of information, Balatro is actually in ancient Rome. It was a professional jester or a buffoon, a joker. So that's what the name means.
That's where the name came from. Yeah.
Yes.
We've I remember you talked about this during demo week, and so I guess in comparison to that, to not go over the full game again, is there anything between like the full launch and that, or was the demo the game? Like, is there any? What's the
demo is pretty much the game,
okay,
but it's just more like I think the demo had like maybe 10%, 20% of the available modifier cards and decks.
Got it.
That you can use.
So there's just
this
more.
one is just a shitload more. And it's the joy of discovery in any roguelite. It's like, okay, new card unlock. Let's see what that does. Okay, that one looks cool. And then all the cards have different modifiers like foil or hollow something. The thing that makes it look rainbowy. You can see it on my screen.
Hollow card.
Yeah. And there's different modifiers for cards. Like they have a chance to have these modifiers and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really fast too. That's what I like about it. It's
how long
you play around and it goes boom, and you go to the next thing. You have a shop stop in between every round, as long as you don't skip. You can skip encounters. skip a blind. They call them blinds.
Okay.
You can skip a blind and get a bonus. So like, if you skip this enemy, we'll give you double the money you have right now. But you also don't get the shop in between. So it's like a give and take. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, how long does it take to like learn it, if that makes sense? Because these games are always a little bit
super quick.
Really? You can just jump in and like out of the gate?
Well, do you know poker hands? Like, you know the poker hands, like high card, pair, two pair, three of a kind?
I would say generally, yeah, but it's not like I have not played poker in the past. I haven't played like Hold'em or anything in the past like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I played a lot.
You don't play your hand against another hand.
Okay.
What you do is you make the best 5-card poker hand that you can to gain points. It's basically like doing damage.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So like, if you build up your flush to be like level 2, level 3, level 4, like you're always like, it's a build. You're doing a flush build, basically. So like every time you face an enemy, you're looking for cards that will make you a flush because that's the most powerful thing you have.
Got it.
So that's how it works. It's just like, go ahead, Cope.
Can you play this game if you're not into poker?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll still like be able to wrap your head around it and everything.
You just need to have a passing knowledge of poker hands, like what beats what.
What if you don't play poker? Does it teach you?
I mean,
I'm asking. Some people in chat were asking. I'm curious.
No, it's poker hands are not like they're pretty self-explanatory. Like high card means the no pairs, no nothing. So it's a high card hand. A pair, pretty self-explanatory. 1 pair of cards, so 2 aces. That's a pair.
Cool. And chat is saying it does like explain all the hands and everything. I was thinking more like flushes and things like that, like straights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's very easy, very quick to learn. Very quick to learn.
Cool.
If you don't know like poker hands, it's very quick, and it's fast, it's fun, it's numbers go up, it's modifiers, it's you get like a really good set of jokers that really have good synergy. It's like a round of Hades or Isaac or something like that, where you're just getting like all the best shit, and you're just like crushing. It feels really good to like get that synergy down, and you'd be like, the best way to gain money at the beginning is to beat the opponent's number with one hand. So you're discarding until you get that monster hand, and you lay it down, and then that's it. You win without having to play more hands. It starts to get like really cool, but it does ramp up. The difficulty does ramp up after a while. And one of the really cool things is every third enemy, like every like mini boss of the level, the big blind, they have a modifier, like a game modifier, meaning like you play with your first hand face down, so you don't get to see the fucking cards. You can discard all of them, but you have a limited number of discards.
Sure. Yeah.
So the boss blind, sorry, you're right, the boss blind, because there's a small blind, big blind, boss blind. Right.
Yep.
But yeah, like it'll have that, or it'll have the boss blind's modifier will be no discards at all. You play the cards you get, and discards are super useful and important a lot of times. But it's really cool because you can see it before it comes, so you can kind of be like, okay, I'm going to play with my cards face down. How am I going to fucking deal with that? Or, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I might have to jump into it. I don't need a game right now to like play offline, and I feel like this would be the addiction that like DRG was when I started playing DRG last week. That was like I got 10 minutes. Let's do a DRG run type deal. Is this the like pick up for 10-minute game, Zeke, that you would do a round in 10 minutes? Okay. That makes sense.
Oh yeah. It's super quick to jump in, jump out.
Yeah. Everyone that's played it has said like, hey, I'm going to check this out. And then an hour later they're singing its praises. So it seems like it's an all around win, for it. And everyone seems to like it. So what does it cost? It's like $10, $20. It's not that expensive, I don't think. It's $14.99 on Steam. Yeah.
Yep.
And you can get the
soundtrack. And it looks like I already have. $3. Yeah, I already have and I played it for like half a stream.
Okay.
And it's just, yeah. I mean, this. I swear to God, this would be like my game for the next week if it was a good draw for viewers for me.
Yeah. No, I get that. I understand. Balatro is the name. Typically, we would have the name up over there, but Explorer has crashed on the streaming PC, I guess, overnight. So I don't want to touch anything and have OBS just like just start to crumple.
What does your OBS do?
Yeah, it's the universal sound. Right? Universal sound for death.
Tech failure. Yeah.
Tech failure, death. Yeah, same thing, really. Let's talk Pacific Drive. Because I was wary of jumping into Pacific Drive, only because when Co talked about it, I think Zeke might have talked about it as well. They forgot to mention that the game is actually kind of scary is not the word I would use, but anxiety inducing is the word that a lot of people said, and it kind of reverberated with me as someone who's not prone to wanting any more anxiety at the moment. So I was a little apprehensive.
You don't like
joining.
Stress?
Yeah, I was a little apprehensive about playing it, but man, I played 4 hours yesterday. I think that's my favorite game of the past week. I really enjoyed Pacific Drive, and I really want to get back to it and try to just like see more stuff, see more anomalies. I don't even know how to talk about that game, Co, without talking about things in the game that I don't want to spoil for people, because half the fun in the game is discovering just what exists.
They've like removed the combat element and inserted like this very fun exploration discovery element.
Yeah.
From like a game like Stalker. But yeah, it's really half the fun of that game is just seeing new things and experiencing new anomalies and things like that.
And it's like one of the more, I think I said the statement, it's like the most unique game I have played in a very long time, because there's not very much. I don't know of a game that is like it, because it is a driving, and people are saying rogue whatever. It's like a driving Stalker Tarkov thing.
There are a lot of different genres that it is combining into one thing.
Yeah.
And it does it surprisingly well, while also fingerprinting it very well with some unique story and unique environments. But I mean, it has like the world of Stalker. You've got the world of Stalker. You've got anomalies. You've got a walled off zone the public isn't allowed in that has mysteries. Like, it's the Stalker zone. That's what it is. Then you've got the procedural element of like a Hades. You've got a roguelike procedural where you have a base and you go out on expeditions. Every expedition is different, and it's partially procedural, and you go back. So it's got that roguelite element. And it's got the looting of a Tarkov style game where you're searching containers. But you aren't searching the containers for necessarily like, loot. You're looking for crafting supplies, which is yet another genre. It's almost Subnautica-y, where you're going around and just collecting crafting supplies all over the place. And then you've got the base building and customization mechanic. You've got a base and a mobile base. So, yeah, I mean, it really is, true. It's just like, it's dipping in all sorts of other genres. But the beautiful thing is, and we talk about iterative gameplay design all the time on my channel, and this is a perfect example of iterative gameplay design, where it's not doing anything super new when you section each of the individual things out.
Sure.
But what's super new is the way that they amalgamate them into the one vision. And that is awesome. There are going to be games that are going to be coming out in the future that are going to be learning a lot and taking a lot from this game.
Sorry, I'm watching freak out to what's happening on screen because you were looking at a text or something. Yeah.
I have no idea.
This game, it feels very, very different as well. I haven't had much daytime missions like this, but at nighttime, I like the anxiety and the stress ramp up for me like tenfold. Especially, it's got I guess without going into it, it's got the Doctor Who Weeping Angel thing kind of in the game. And I still don't know fully how those work, and please don't tell me how they work, but I don't like them. And it keeps me from like, anytime I walk around, I'm staring at that thing, and then I'll go over here and loot some real quick, and then I just turn back, and I'm like, did you move? I don't know. What? You didn't do anything. How come you didn't react? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm still trying to figure that out. And then there's so many other things that I haven't even encountered yet. You can like look at the map and it'll tell you the different anomalies that are on it, and they're all just question marks until you go and scan them, I think is how that works.
Yeah. You want to scan everything.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Everything gets scanned.
Yeah. I've only done like 6 or 7 like full runs. I spend a lot of time in the garage. I would say I spend as much time as possible in the garage because I'm stressed about going out. So I'll get my car looking all pretty, and you can like spray paint it and put different doors on, put different things on the car to like upgrade it. Cause that's part of the game is like you upgrade your car. You put new, better, higher armor on your car because those deteriorate and you have to repair them, and you got to manage gas, and you have to manage the battery life and all that stuff. And that sounds kind of tedious, but it's actually not. There's like a relaxing factor to that whole process of like going back into the shop. It gives you a little bit of a break in between the, I would say, high stress moments of like the actual game. And then the whole quirk system, I think, is one of the coolest systems. You don't like it? I think it's badass. I love it. But only because the quirks that I have are like, so let me explain the system. Quirks in the game will just happen to your car randomly. I don't know what causes them. I don't know if there's like a thing that you're not supposed to do to get them to stop. But perfect example is like my first quirk, and I think it might be the most universal one. So I'll go ahead and just say what it is. When I would shut my rear door, the car would honk.
Yep.
And I think that's the first
one on right now.
Okay.
I refuse to remove it.
And and every time I did it, I would like chuckle a little bit. And I think that's probably why you've refused to, to remove it as well. But the tutorial is like, basically it's an if-then statement. And the game doesn't specifically tell you what is causing the different quirks of the car, but it can get really crazy where like, I don't know if this is one, but if you turn the car left, the right door will open.
Yeah. Did you see
there you go, right there. If you reverse, the hood pops up.
The hood pops up. That one I had to take off.
Okay, I haven't seen that one
was
yet.
That one was getting a bit much, so that quirk had to go.
Yeah, I think you just realized what was happening when you reversed right there. That's why you're laughing. Yeah. But you're muted. Steve.
Okay. I gotta ask a question. Who among you, I'm asking you guys and the chat, who among you, your first car was just a piece of shit?
Yeah.
My first car was a Chevy Chevette, like a 1980 Chevy Chevette.
Ooh.
And it must have heard about this game or something because it had quirks, all kinds of quirks.
Yeah.
It was very much like I pressed the brake and the radio would turn off, like for some reason, like
oh no,
it would come back on after I took the brake off, but it'd be like, and today coming up on the drive time, it was, and that's the weather for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So someone in chat just said they had 2 quirks on their car that were activating each other.
Oh no.
So it's like,
Jeez.
Can you imagine like the hood opens and on that opens the right door, but then if the right door opens, the hood closes. So it's like, like just back and forth and back and forth.
Maybe that's why I like the quirk system, because it reminds me of exactly what Zeke just said. I had a 68 Jeep Wagoneer is my first car. Wagoneer. It might have been a Cherokee. I forget the exact one. But I had that car for like 10 years. And I was very sad when I had it towed away because it was it was like the emotional, like, oh, it's my first car, it's going away. I had to have it towed, though, because the gas tank was literally leaking gasoline. And I didn't know that until I went to a mechanic. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the car. And he came back after looking at it for like 5 minutes. He's like, yeah, you got to get your car the fuck out of my shop because it's leaking gas all over it right now. And I can't have that on my shop. And I was like, what do I... But I don't.
What do I do?
I don't want to drive.
I'm not going to drive it.
He's like, I don't want to drive that. He's like, well, you got it here driving it, so you can take your chances, but you got to get it out of my lot. It's leaking gas right now. Like you have a full tank of gas and it's just leaking all over my shop.
Is that like, can you fix it? Like, isn't that what you do?
Yeah,
you fix things, right?
That's what happened.
No
That's what happened. I towed it from the shop to the house, and then the next day I sold it because it was not going to fucking drive. I'd been driving it apparently for like a month while it just leaked gas everywhere. And
wow.
Anyways, so I have fond memories of the quirks of that of the game.
Chad is saying that the devs actually stated that they one of the ways they found a bunch of quirks were asking people what funny things their old cars do.
Oh, that's awesome. Funny. I love that really so much.
I had a buddy who had, I don't know how this worked electrically or whatever, but like his horn on his like the cover of the steering wheel was like off.
Yeah.
Like the plastic cover or whatever. And if he wanted to honk his horn, he had like an empty can of Copenhagen like snooze or whatever, the dip.
Yeah.
And he would take the metal end and put it, and it would like connect the circuit and be like, and it was the funniest fucking sound I've ever heard.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know how much, how like deep the quirk system goes, but then the way that you get rid of that. You can
look.
Yeah.
You can sit there and look.
Oh, that's true. I guess you can go look at all of them.
Yeah. There's a ton of them.
There's like a station, and you basically have to solve like an if-then puzzle. And so the game doesn't tell you what's happening, but like for Ko, where we just saw the quirk of when he puts the car in reverse, the hood pops open. You have to go to the station and say like, basically they have all these different like sections. You choose hood, and then you put opens, win, and then you choose the other two. And I love that idea of having to like choose that stuff and figure it out, because they give you a little bit of like a driving course. So you can actually take the car out, not in a mission, to figure out why these quirks are happening. So I like that system, but I haven't had the system interfere with the gameplay yet, which maybe I wouldn't like it as much if that were the case, where it's like, oh, you got to get out of this level because it's closing, but you can't drive forward because when you press forward, the car goes backwards or something like that, right? Like I haven't encountered that. And that might suck, but it also might add to the gameplay. And that's just like one of the many systems that exist in this game. That all of them resonate with me. I love the looting. It made like this aspect of doing the Tetris that we just saw right there in the inventory. That's really fun. You can also just, for like normal materials, you could just press T and it'll automatically drag everything over into your inventory. And then when you get back to your car, you just press T again and it'll shift everything over to the other inventory in your car. There's the hood popping up because he's reversed. You can change steering wheel. You can like customize all that stuff. I didn't get super far, but I unlocked like the handbrake. But there's also other systems. Did you unlock any of the like other abilities, Ko, in terms of what they are?
I have some other cool things. Like I put a side rack on with some extra storage, put another side rack on, and I put a lightning rod on it. So now when I drive through electricity, it charges my battery instead of hurts me.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay.
And there's lots of other stuff that you can get and unlock and progress on and everything. So I think I'm at the stage of the game where I'm just about to go.
I've had that happen before.
No, Ko, did you try and throw it in reverse? The hood might pop you back up.
That's like, I should have. You're right. No, you just warp your vehicle out, which is really handy.
Oh, I haven't done that.
You just hit the T key, and it will just warp you anywhere nearby.
Oh, okay.
But no, there's. I think I'm up to the point in the game where I'm just about to get to the next tier. There's like 3 defined tiers, and if you look, there's this giant blueprint area where you can get new blueprints.
Yeah.
And if you look at that, it goes like stable energy, unstable energy, and then like prototype energy or something. And I hope and think I'm just about to get to the region that has unstable.
Okay.
Which took a little bit of a thing. So yeah, it's been
missed
awesome.
the jump.
I'm playing it more tomorrow afternoon. This kind of sucks. So when you take those jumps, not only do you not really go fast enough with the basic engine to do anything, but it hurts like every part of your car.
Yeah.
So there is no reason to take those jumps. I agree. I feel like there should be some kind of buff, like you jumped it or something that gives you like 3 seconds of invulnerability, so you can actually jump and have fun with it. But no, you want to avoid those like the plague, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like a parachute or something, like a glider, like a huge hang glider that pops out like.
Yeah.
I mean, there may be some car upgrade that helps with that. Maybe there's something that you can get to, prevent falling damage or help with it. You get a spring later that apparently makes the car jump or something. So I don't know.
Really? Okay.
They do all sorts of weird things with the crafting system. So
yeah, you saw right there. By the way, every time you don't have to, but every time you get in and get out of the car, you can turn the car on and off, and you can also put the parking brake on or off.
Oh,
and it's awesome.
I have an auto brake.
Oh, you have an auto brake, so whenever you get out?
I have an auto brake. So every time I get out of the car, it brakes automatically. When I get in, it unbrakes. So you just completely ignore that. I hope there's one for the turning the car on and off, too. But actually, that brings me to my next thing. There's incredibly cool customization to the options in this game that everyone should look through. Yes. Like, there's a high visibility items thing that's incredibly useful. You can see items in containers through walls. They glow gold. So that makes it super handy. There are all sorts of accessibility options for all the controls. So one of the things I did, for instance, was I turned on brighter nights, which is huge. The stream can actually see at night, which is nice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's also an option that makes it so you don't have to hold E when you're doing the key and the brake. So you can just tap E, which makes it so much easier to do the brake and stuff. You just get in and tap, you're done. And if you go through the options, there's lots of really good stuff in there. You can just turn off losing items. You can turn off death. You can turn off player damage. Like anything you can think to do, there's pretty much something similar to it in the options somewhere.
Yeah.
They really pulled it out of the stops, giving the player choice in that, which is fantastic. I wish more games did that.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of those do, if you are worried about the like stress or anxiety of the like go mentality that the game has a lot, those abilities, everything that Coach just listed, turning those off and messing with those can really affect that in a positive way for you.
Nediane, one of my monsters, said you can even turn on closing your eyes when the car flips so you don't get sick with the motion.
God, that's wild. That's some really good QA, like feedback-wise.
They also can make it so when you get in and out of the car, instead of showing the animation, it's just a black screen. So for people that get motion stuff from lots and lots of cool little things.
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't know that it went that deep. But glad that it does. Definitely worth checking out. Story-wise, I'm not super far. I'm very interested in it. It's kind of told through
I have
voices
theories
on the radio.
Yeah. I have some theories, some big theories that I'm looking forward to completing and checking.
Yeah, I've definitely, just in the 4 hours, I definitely have thoughts on like the people and what they're saying, and it's that type of game where you're not exactly sure on anything because it's all so obscure and bizarre and kind of,
and every so SCP-ish. Often the people talking will like say a certain word or phrase or that'll make you like completely raise your eyebrows and be like, wait, what?
Yeah, and it's like a normal word, but it's capitalized in the subtitles, and you're like, why is that capitalized?
Or or they'll talk about like the order of things or like when things happened, and you're like, wait, but like, there's a lot of curveballs if you look for them, which makes it very interesting.
Yeah, so it's got a cool story ultimately to boil all that down. I don't know lengthwise. I've heard it's like 15-ish hours for main story.
I heard it was 10 to 15 hours if you rush the main story, but if you're like farming and going for upgrades and everything, you can spend up to 30, like doing farming runs and missions and getting all the collectibles and things like that. Because it's procedural, there's like random chances on if the collectibles will actually even be on the maps. So like there will be times when you enter a map and you'll just see this big blue icon. And if you drive over to that icon, it's a pole with a little box on it, and you look at the box, and it's like an episode of this like podcast thing that goes over like the history of the area and what limb technology is and all this stuff. And every time you find one, it's the next one. So, it's stuff like that. And then of course, what I also really like about this game is any container anywhere has a chance of containing a rare item or a collectible, which is really cool. So it makes searching everything very viable. There's a lot of times in games like this when everything can start feeling really tedious when you've already maxed out all your resources and you just, you don't need a lot of stuff. So it's like, why keep looting? But because they put so much random stuff in random containers, like anything can have anything in it. So that's a very good feeling. It's that kind of like that PoE feeling where, like any mob could drop a mirror, which makes it so it's like you're constantly like interested in killing everything. It's that kind of thing.
Yep. I didn't realize.
You can customize your goddamn plate. It doesn't look like you can.
You can't customize your plate, but you can add stickers, you can add paint, the entire interior. You can find customizations for your steering wheel, your gear shifter, your little thing on top of your antenna. You can get special components. I found a bumper that had a gold star on it that had a special ability that I couldn't repair. So it's like it was a special bumper, but it only had one life, and once it was gone, it was gone. So you can even find like special parts like that. So there's you can see I have little dashboard puppers that's bobbling his head around. So it's, there's all sorts of fun stuff.
I see you're wearing the shirt, so I think you have this belt. Did you find this yet? Because I have not found it yet.
I have not found it in the game.
Yeah.
Did you get your MJP shirt?
I have an MJP
that was very
mechanic
cool, the devs.
jacket.
I'm actually wearing it in that if you look on my what is that? My right side? It says it actually says "co" on the thing. They actually sent us all like fun little stuff like that. That was very cool. The devs.
Yeah. I like mine as well. They spelled my name correctly. That's all I care about.
Big same, not "co."
I want one. Those look cool.
They're cool. They're really cool. You got the bobblehead. That was actually it was one of my favorite like press packets. Sometimes you get a lot of stuff where it's just like.
Did you read the manual?
Yes, the manual.
Oh my god. They got like an actual manual for the car, but they went through it with like a pen and like added in all these notes and stuff to like that were about the game and like the weird stuff in the game and things like that. It was very creative.
It's like an actual I don't know if they like printed. Like, is this from a real station wagon?
There are parts in that manual. I flipped through the whole thing that like tell you how to change the oil and how to access the transmission and stuff like that. And it looked real. I'm not sure if it's real, but it absolutely looked real.
Yeah, like this. It's this. Oh, that's gonna look bad.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's like it's actual. Yeah.
It's wild.
But then every so often you'll see like pen written in it.
Yes.
Where like it'll circle a part of the manual and be like, where they'll like draw an anomaly and be like, maybe this is related to this anomaly and stuff like that. So it's very cool.
It's fucking cool. And it's like beat up. It's not like freshly printed. Like, whoever managed the press packets for that stuff, they did a fantastic job.
Out of 10.
Yeah. And
the music's great too. Good. Yeah. All the music I've listened to is good. I have streamer mode on.
I have streamer mode on. Two of the songs I hate, but the techno, like beat EDM music I will find that song. I wish you could put songs on repeat. That's maybe my only criticism of the game. I wish I could just have that song on repeat nonstop, because that song will end and then you hear some like they're not bad, but you hear like a generic country song that's very sad and downtrodden right after. It just fucking kills the vibe, man. It just you're in the garage, like working on the car. You're sitting there like bobbing your head. You're into it, and then this guy just comes on and starts talking about like his dead dog, and you're just like very upset about it. I want the ability to just put a song on repeat.
So like radio. So like actual radio.
Yeah, it's actual radio. There's only a handful of songs though with streamer mode on. I don't know what music is like in the game that is DMCA-able. But I have heard that it's good from a couple of viewers, but I couldn't tell you if it's anything mainstream or anything like that. So,
these are so good. These stations are amazing.
I haven't seen that either. I don't even know.
Just drive in and they fix your car up and charge it up, and
that's super helpful. You get out of you've got the confidence to get out of your car. You didn't put it in park though, but I don't get out of the car that often because I'm so wary walking around. I haven't built it up.
Man, I almost like I had a moment, and let me just say this right now, so you guys don't end up like I do.
Okay.
In this game, I strongly recommend 2 modes. Either you're going out to farm, or you're going out to do the main story.
Yeah, sure.
And if you're going out to do the main story, or if you're combining those 2 things, always keep your car at near max health.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
You don't need to go any further.
All I'm going to say. I will go a little further, because what I did was I spent an hour and a half meticulously clearing multiple maps in a story mission. And then I got to the story mission and I'm bumbling through it. And I'm like, yeah, my car's like half health, but it's cool. I'm almost done. I'll just go home and repair everything when I'm there. No problem. Needless to say, story mission got real, and I died.
You lost all of it?
You lose everything.
I haven't encountered that yet, but I could see that sucking.
It happened at the end of one of my streams, and I literally popped up in the main thing, and I was just like, this isn't fun. I'm not having fun. I was just like, oh my God. I was very frustrated. Now, granted, if I had been playing properly and, thought to repair my car before, that would have been fine, but it was completely on me at the end of the day. But what I will say is I recommend to people, if you are ever in a situation where you are hauling around a lot of stuff, do not ever tell yourself, I'll just fix things when the mission's over. Don't ever tell yourself that in this game, because stuff can go very, very wrong very, very quickly. We're talking on a dime, things can go wrong potentially. Yeah. There are RNG events that can be brutal. So don't be like Co.
Okay, there you go.
Be smart. Don't be
smart. Yeah. That's Pacific Drive. What? Let me see what they're charging. That I think it's $30.
$26.99.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on sale.
Perfect price for this.
That's
game.
A great price.
That's such a great price. I have such just great.
Yeah. It's on. Is it what platforms? Because I know it's on Steam, but is it on Xbox and stuff? I just want to make sure. So if people,
I don't know for sure.
Yes, PS5, PlayStation, Epic Games. I don't think it's actually out on Xbox. Looks PlayStation, Steam, Epic Games is all their advertising, at least on the front page of PacificDriveGame.com. So it's cool. It's a good one. Definitely check it out. Zeke, I think it's right up your alley. It's got the SCP vibes to it, and you're never sure what's going on. You played the demo? Okay.
I played the demo of it, and I was absolutely 100% in. I love the vibe of it, and I love the idea of driving around in a hunk of junk right away that has its own quirks and shit to it, and the SCP vibe. I love those type of games. Anything with this secure, contain, protect, or back rooms, liminal spaces, that shit is a recent discovery for me, and man, I just can't get enough of them. I love it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for sure. Let's talk Nightingale. I think all three of us did sponsored streams for Nightingale, and kind of continues the weird trend of survival games. Just huge amounts of survival games coming out. Most of them with 1.0s. This one early access. A little bit of a different story. And where do we want to begin with Nightingale?
I can begin.
Go ahead.
I just want to say what a lot of people have said, and I will echo it. What an unfortunate time to release the game.
Yeah.
Due to how many crafting and survival games just came out and how long those fucking games take to complete. The thing that the biggest standout for me, when relating this to the other games that have come out that are similar, is this game is gorgeous. It is graphically very pleasing.
285. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's just it's better to it's more fun to look at than I would say Palworld and Shrouded and stuff like that. However, I'm not done with those games yet. I'm getting close to being done with Enshrouded, I think, maybe. But all those games are 100-hour games, and it's just another one. Well, I guess I'll add it to the list with that, and another crafting survival game like Pacific Drive or Sons of the Forest, and all that type of shit. It's just man, how do I decide? And it's just like, it seems like a great game with, great voiceovers, a cool idea. The aesthetic of the 19th century aesthetic with the introduction of like, not steampunk, but like, what do they call it? They call it gas lamp fantasy. So it's like, yeah, it's all that juxtaposition of like magic with 1800s stuff. It's a cool idea, cool environment, but just like, I gotta shelf it for now because I'm doing 3 other games right now that are similar.
The big thing about this game, the takeaway from this game is great as a foundation for a finished product. But it is very early access. It is very clearly missing some stuff that it needs. What's there is pretty awesome. Like, I had a great time with it. I feel like the world's going to be super interesting to explore. I actually did some stuff with Dan. The co-op seemed to work just fine. There were things that I really liked about this game, and more importantly, there is no question that I'm going to want to do like a big full run of this game at some point. But I feel like I kind of to echo Zeke's thing, they released a very unfinished product in the middle of a sea of finished products. So it's kind of like, I played this for the sponsored section and kind of instantly I played a little bit longer than the sponsored section too. Cause there's no question I was enjoying what I was doing, but it's kind of like, yeah, there's no reason to rush this right now. Like, there's all these other really good games to play, they're done, most of them, or further along in early access. And it's just like, this one, it just needs more cook time. But what's there is cool, man. It's got a super unique aesthetic. When the voice acting's there, the voice acting's great. The music was good. I like the way that the crafting machines work with all those different variables that you can have. The base building seemed pretty cool. I really like that you can apparently what you can do is you can load up a chest with resources, and then you can place where you want all of your base to be. You can build a huge base of blueprints, and then as you load up that chest, if you have an NPC, they will build it all for you.
Really?
Which is really cool. Yeah, apparently they can use chests and build for you and do all this other fun stuff. So
I didn't know they were that advanced.
There is some stuff in this game that I feel will definitely push this genre forward once it's realized and completed. The weapon customization stuff is very interesting. Apparently, there's a streamer named Glad who plays a lot of survival games, and he went hard into this game. He got to the end game, and he was like, I am not used to seeing this level of customization and itemization in a game of this type. He said he kind of felt like there was a Diablo thing going on almost, with how many different ways he could change and spec and enhance his weapons and stuff. Also, I like the fact that this game, you can basically make your own procedural levels however you want, which is super interesting. Like, you can make a card of a type and then another type, and you combine them in a portal and make a new area to go explore in. Like, that's super cool. So, and then you have a home base realm too. So you have a persistent base as well. So there's a lot of really, really cool ideas in this game. Again, it's missing a ton of basic stuff. A lot of things don't really click properly. There's animation tomfoolery. The combat's a little weird at times. There's all these little things that will all be fixed with time. They just need to, I can't wait for the 1.0 release, basically.
Yeah. I echo everything you guys said. For me, the weakest system in the game I felt was the combat. It was just kind of...
We never even really got to that, dude.
Simple.
So apparently the combat is based around having shotguns, rifles, and pistols.
Yeah, and I played with a little bit of that in the stress test.
Yeah, I used a bow.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But you might be right in terms of the different materials that you use to craft the weapons impact what the weapon does in terms of its damage and all that stuff. And that maybe that's the proper combat material. Because for me, this was the combat kind of you can headshot people with melee, and that was about as advanced as it got. Or if you have a knife, you can backstab enemies. And so I was doing a little bit of that where they would go after you get an NPC buddy that follows you around, which is nice. And you can kind of tell them to go do certain things, but they're also very strong and can tank a lot more hits than you can initially. And so I would have him be the tank while I'm sitting there stabbing the mobs in the back. But
cool.
Yeah, it's got a great foundation. That's a perfect way to put this game. A great foundation that we need 1.0.
I was going to say, I feel exactly the same way about this game as I feel like in Shrouded, where it's like totally sold on the game. Can't wait to do a big playthrough. Because I know I'm going to do that, I don't really have an urge to do it now. Like, I'll just wait. There's a lot of other fun stuff to do. So, yeah, and Shrouded and Nightingale are both games that I think are going to have very cool, big 1.0 releases when they get there. It'll be interesting to see, like, if these games follow, like, that Core Keeper Terraria Stardew release style I was talking about earlier, or if they're going to kind of, like, be quiet in the background, just kind of plodding along until they're ready to do the big 1.0 drop. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Could be, like, 2 years from now if they both, because for whatever reason, February of 2024 was survival game month. So 2 years, a year from now, like if all three of those, Palworld and Shrouded and this come out within a week, we're fucked.
Oh my God. Yeah.
We're just screwed. Woo! If all of those hit at around the same time, because you're going to have to choose. There's no way. Be very, I'm super interested to see the development path of those three games because they're so varied in terms of just initial success, like grandiose plans, where the game's at currently. Can't wait to see what comes out of all three of those as they kind of like push this this genre forward. Is kind of like the big three. And then there's, I guess, Valheim's also looped into that whenever that hits 1.0, or whenever they like push another big update. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say they're working on their next biome, and that's due God knows when, the Ashland stuff. The Valheim guys are going they're taking their time.
Yeah, and more power
to them. They're already successful, absolutely. Yeah, they've already won, already made their money. So take their time and deliver a great quality product, whatever. That's cool. But
it actually brings up a good point. To jump to another survival game with Sons of the Forest. You guys have not played 1.0, correct? So I jumped into,
and I'm sad.
I rage quit that game yesterday. I straight up fucking just quit out. And
really,
some of it is, I think, me and Gassy Mexican and Bruce approached that game, I think, like every other survival game, right? Like I was in this mindset of like, let's build a big base. Let's like get things, let's advance the tech tree, blah, blah, blah. But it's not a unique or a new idea that like, that's not what that game is ultimately, because you can just kind of exist in that world and go from point to point, continually getting new weapons, new armor.
Yep.
And you don't have to build. We built.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah, we built a base, and the game just constantly sends things your way and impedes that process at every step of the way. That I was just like, I'm not having fun. Like I want to be fucking left alone for a literal day-night cycle without waking up 10 times in the middle of the night and my fire going out. And fucking not having any of the fish. I just got annoyed. I was like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I'm fucking done. I'm all up for it. I'm done with this shit. What really broke me was they put in electricity so you can get basically a solar panel. We found a solar panel in like a cave somewhere. And so we put Max really built most of I made a shitty building. Max made the proper building. Then we put a
proper, really? Is it 4 walls in the ceiling?
Yeah. But I was using like the pre-made thing. Anyways, you get a solar panel thing, and you like put on the floor on the roof of whatever, and then you can attach wire to the solar panel, and then run that wire to basically a light bulb. But the way that the game like interacts with that, and I thought it was because me and Max were stupid, but it turns out that it's actually just a shitty system, and like it's been a pretty widely complained about system. There's like videos to how to like figure out the system of electricity. So we tried. I mean, it really is like a classic joke of like how many streamers does it take to screw in a light bulb. We tried for like an hour. And we just said, fuck it. We're done. Like, this shit's not working. We can't get the light bulb to work. I'm tired of fucking being raided. and I just got frustrated with it. So I don't know what's new. We did get a golf cart. The golf cart is great. It probably is the highlight of the game, in 1.0 of it being new. And you find it relatively quickly, at least we did. And it's solar paneled, or solar powered, so you never really run out of like gas or anything like that. And you can just run over the guys with it.
I actually have an answer to that question. That age-old question. How many streamers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Yeah.
It takes 100. One to screw in the light bulb and 99 of them to react to it.
It's accurate.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's accurate. Yeah, I agree.
100% fair.
Yeah. This is us yesterday trying to figure out the fucking light bulb just so we could show gameplay of it. I also hate the snow. I hated the snow when I played it when it came out early, and it still sucks. You still have to manage everything that snow brings. And like when you're cooking, at least when I was cooking stuff around the fire and you walk towards the fire, it kicks snow on top of the food. So I couldn't see when the food, just like very small, minor things where I was just like, God, I just getting annoyed. And I think it's because I've played so many survival games recently that I was like expecting that. What are you listening to?
I just imagine this being like real life. And like everybody's out there working. JP's like, I'm not sure like how this goes. I think you're supposed to put it up there. Like it's like JP supervising, like you wrapped it around this log here. I don't think that's not secure. Yeah. It says you got to do a hitch knot. You're not doing a hitch knot here.
Yeah. It also takes a while to build in this game, just in general. Like each tree is 2 to 4 logs or 2 to 6 logs. And like a normal cabin is like 70 logs. And so you just have to collect a ton of shit to get it going. So there was a lot of things where I was like, if I'm looking for a survival game to play, there's a lot of other ones out there that I've played recently, Palworld, Enshrouded, even Nightingale, where I'd much rather spend my time. So in terms of what's new in 1.0, all I could say is a golf cart. I don't know what's new in the story. We didn't get to like, what I would say, we were playing the game, I don't want to say incorrectly because I hate that statement, but like the game wants you to go from cave to cave and from building to building and from like quest mark to quest mark and get those.
Did you play through the first one?
Yeah. And we did most of the stuff when it first launched. Oh, no. The original Forest. No, I didn't play much of it.
Okay. No, that absolutely like would like for me personally going into Sons of the Forest, having played the Forest, I didn't even fucking bother with building because like I played the early access or whatever pre 1.0 release, and I knew like if it's a similar game, don't fucking bother. Just make little like those little wood huts that you can save at, and that's fucking all you need to do. And it appealed to me because the building is absolutely optional, and I'm happy to not do it. I'm happy to not like, here's my little wood tent, and that's it. I'm going to go, because I have to throw away supplies. I get so many just from going, from place to place to place.
Yeah. So
that was my biggest complaint with the game when I played it the first time.
Is that you didn't have to build? Or there was no requirement for it?
Not only that you didn't have to build, there was no real reason to. Like every single thing the building did, you could do better just running around. Wow, that poor guy.
Oh, the golf cart was the most fun.
The food generation is it's better to get food, exploring around and picking it up than it is to try to use a base to make it for you. The farming and growing stuff, it didn't really add up. Like you can get meds and stuff better outside. The thing that really is the part that makes it so unfortunate is when you're out exploring, you're finding new items, you're making new progress. You're getting things that you can't get while base building.
Right.
But while you're base building, all you're doing is wasting time.
Yes.
That's it. The base is not going to give you anything that is going to help you do anything faster. It's not going to get you food in a better way. It's not going to get you There's nothing the base does that you can't do out in the field. Your entire crafting there's no benches or anything to make to craft because you do that all in your backpack. So it's like, I see why they have base building, but because it's a survival game, right? But the game itself doesn't cater or lend to it. They should really kind of lean into it and make it so the base can do some really cool stuff that you can't do otherwise. Yeah. But they just don't. And it's kind of a big lost opportunity.
Yeah. And I wish I could speak to, late game and probably a lot of those, 1.0 stuff that is there in the base building. But we spent 5 hours and did absolutely jack shit fucking around in a base. And 90% of that was me and Max or Bruce going, fucking get the golf cart. There's 5 motherfuckers here again, and I'm trying to build this shit. Just go get the golf cart and run them over. Just fucking get this shit out of here. Or Lisa's, we call her Lisa. Her name's Victoria. Victoria's here. She wants to give us food. We're trying to place this rock down. I can't. She's in the fucking way. Just accept the food. Like, we just got annoyed most of the time.
It's bad when you interrupt yourself before you end a sentence like 5 times in a row.
Yeah, it's just this game really was just a constant slew of interruptions from us trying to do something. And that's fine, but if it never stops, you get very annoyed. At least we do. We did very quickly. So I wish I could comment on like the story of it or any of that, because it did straight up, when the game launched, the story just stopped. Like, there wasn't a culmination or anything. It just like halted. And we talked about it. You guys talked about it at length on the show. And I don't know what's been added to it. So
Bar Soccer says, it seems like they're missing the point of the forest. You're stranded in the first. You're meant to explore and escape. And this one, you are searching for people, not really intended to build a mega base. Well, I mean, yes and no. You're right. And it's clear that the game leads you into the direction of completely ignoring base building. But I think the premise here is, this is a survival game with a lot of what is there is a pretty fleshed out base building mechanic. Like and if you played the first game, in the first game, building a base felt way more advantageous. So you would think playing the sequel that has all similar and in some cases even more advanced mechanics, that they would expect you to use those mechanics. Yeah. And that there would be a benefit to using those mechanics. So it's, I see where you're coming from, but at the same time, you're basically saying just ignore that huge fleshed out part they spent months/years developing and pouring money into, because that's not what the point of the game is.
Yeah.
Listen,
really?
Same thing with Palworld. It's the same thing with Palworld. They have a building system. It's not like super intricate, but it's intricate enough that you can actually like make some cool stuff, I'd imagine. But it gives you no benefit to do so at all.
I would strongly disagree with that. Like, in fact, I would say Palworld and this game are opposite. In Palworld, your base is a giant resource generator. You have to build crafting benches.
No. I'm talking about building a building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the thing to compare Palworld to this is the whole thing. So, like, in Palworld, like, your whole base had to have, like, tons of crafting benches and storage and all the different resource generators and all the pals to manage there. Like, the base building part of Palworld is super developed and arguably necessary to the game.
I should have said building. They have, like, different walls, windows, doors, roofs, angles, blah, blah, blah. And you don't need any of that shit. Like, you just, I was like, okay, I'm going to put a plot of land. I ended up destroying all of it, making a little corner with, like, a roof and a bed underneath it, and the rest was just like open, like rain, weather falling on all my equipment and shit. Doesn't matter. It's just a big open field of just equipment.
Sure. And Magdalena in my chat says there's a ton of people who just love the building in the forest and Sons of the Forest. They love nothing more than wasting their time and joust building. The quests and storylines are secondary or even low on their list, and that's fine. Totally. Don't get me wrong, that's fine. It's just the thing that I think me and JP, the point that we're making is there is this fleshed out awesome system. It's unfortunate the devs have given no reason to use it. I would like to have reasons to build a big base and for it to be fun and something that would benefit me and, maybe make it so I could look at my watch in the game and just choose an option to fast travel back to my base whenever I wanted. So there'd actually be more of a reason to have it. There are lots of interesting, cool ways that they could make base building something meaningful. But instead, they went the Starfield direction with it, or the Fallout 4 direction with it, where it's just like it's just there. You could use it if you want to, but you will lose nothing by not doing it. And that kind of sucks.
From your chat, Kumataru as said, you don't need any of that in any survival game, though. It's all for aesthetics, always has been. You are fucking wrong. I just want to point out how wrong
we were just talking about Palworld.
Valheim and Shrouded, like the rested bonus that you get, you get from both of those games for decorating and making your house like bigger or better or whatever,
or
like
crafting
that.
or building or all sorts of things
in the game.
Like, for instance, how cool would it be?
Encourage me to do that. However, I do I'm playing in Shrouded right now, so I have all of my useful shit. And then all of my decorations are in a fucking junk corner just to give me the comfort bonus. I got a table with a chair on top of it and a fucking lights all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
It's a corner of my house that's just here's all my comfort. It's all in one spot if you can see it.
Yeah. And somebody just said V Rising, another perfect example, where it's a base is wildly and then and somebody said how could they do that in the forest? Make crafting benches that are exactly like your backpack, but use less resources. So it's cool, you have a reason to build it. Make more things that passively generate resources, so you can just come back to your base and have a whole bunch of stuff waiting for you, like a little loot box. There's all sorts of things they could do to make it more interesting and meaningful. They have made the decision not to do that. And the point we're making is, that's unfortunate. Yeah. It'd be cool to have those reasons. It'd be cool to have a purpose to build the base. Because the mechanics are pretty cool, at the end of the day. It's
in Sons of the Forest, can you
Grounded, another example,
turn off base attacks?
I think that's a server setting, we were playing on a dedicated server, and a lot of what I experienced, I didn't ask Barry what settings he made, and chat brought up a great point that if it was unrealistic, then the difficulty of the server is a lot different than the one below that, which I don't know what it is, in terms of the frequency of the raids and stuff like that. So that might have had an impact and been the reason why we were just always constantly being attacked and raided and whatnot. There was 3 or 4 raids. We tried to sleep one night. And I think we got interrupted in the middle of the night 4 or 5 times. So it might have just been a difficulty server setting that I didn't have a conversation about, whatever. But yeah. Didn't have the greatest time with the game, so that's the short of it.
For the people that are saying in Sons of the Forest, what you're doing is different, so you are kind of meant to ignore base building. I get that, but this is a video game, and I would love to participate in all the mechanics. That's all we're saying. We're not trying to argue the realism of finding people in terms of survival and base. No, I don't care about any of that. I just want to use all the fun parts of the game and have it mean something. That's all. That's all.
They wouldn't put that big of a fleshed out system if they didn't want you to interact with it.
In some way.
Yeah. And again, the other thing, we weren't building a mega base, and I don't even think Co would refer to his bases in the early access thing as a mega base. It was a building.
It's testing stuff.
Testing stuff.
I spent when in Sons of the Forest, when I first played it the first time, pretty much built everything I could, and then I was sitting in the middle of it, and I the first few times I tried to run out and ran back to it, and I got to the point where I think I ran back to it the second or third time, and it was just why am I running back to this?
Yeah,
I built everything. There's nothing here for me. It's faster if I just go from point to point to point to point. I'll get more food that way. I'll get more resources that way. There's no reason to run back to your base.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's building a sandcastle. If you like building sandcastles, great. Well, you just know that they're going to just get washed away by the tide, or random wandering redskins zombies or whatever. They're just going to destroy your shit. So more power to you if you like that shit. But I'm just saying I'm going to walk down the beach and not bother with the sandcastles.
There you go. It happens. You could choose the way you want to play. The other big release came out this week, moving things along. Last Epoch. Zeke, this might be a PoE type segment for you. You might be able to just tune the fuck out here for me and go for about 20 minutes.
All right.
I'm just gonna preface
I've got linen to make and then shroud it anyways. So maybe I'll just pull that up.
Last Epoch 1.0. Game aside, kind of a little bit of a rough launch. And they kind of shot themselves in the foot. At least I remember, when did the game launch? Wednesday? Is that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Prior to the game launching, there was a post on their subreddit, on the Last Epoch subreddit, from I think the head of the network, that was basically like a very detailed post of here's why I'm confident the servers are going to be great and it's going to be a fantastic launch, and this is all the stuff we put into it. Cut to the game launching and the servers are fucked.
He basically was like, it'll be fine. This will be just fine. He said literally the worst things you could say.
I don't know.
Something like this.
It is the perfect example of why you just shut the fuck up and put the game out and then talk about everything that you did.
That
to
article
make it
would
better.
have been fantastic.
Yes.
After the game came out, everything worked smoothly, and then it's here's why it all worked smoothly. That's when that article would have shined.
Oh my god! It just he just shot himself in the foot. He recorded a video of him shooting himself in the foot multiple times. And posted
I don't get me wrong. I respect game devs. I like them. I kind of hope that follows him around for the rest of his life. I do. I kind of hope wherever he works,
you're the last Epoch guy.
It becomes this joke where it's all right, and make sure Phil's socials are disabled before the launch, because Phil's not going to pull that shit again. Yeah, you know what we're talking about, Phil. We all know it. Yeah, I really hope that just becomes a thing.
Yes, me lost. Let me shut up.
He's drunk. He's I'll say what I want. Launch will be perfect.
On my mind right now. Bill, you never put on deodorant. I'm gonna say it. I'm saying it.
I don't know about he probably feels terrible. I would feel terrible in that situation, and I would assume the amount of vitriol.
I hope he's seeing the humor in it. I really
100%.
At this point, it's just funny. Yeah.
So there have been issues. Man. I think the issues they're getting a lot better. Yesterday, you could kind of log in. There was queues. There weren't queues. I think they hit another all-time high this morning on Steam. So
past PoE.
Well, it's a little bit.
Did you hear about this? It's a little weird because it's not counting it on Steam.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not counting the people that play from the PoE client, which is numerous. But still, I mean, it's past Path of Exile's tops, and I think right now it's the highest it's ever been. Hold on, let me check.
Yes, I think they hit a new peak this morning.
It was 260 this morning.
Yeah.
Right now it is 200. So it's back.
But what's the 24-hour peak?
24-hour peak. The all-time was 264.
And that was it usually has a time right next to it.
I'm on Steam base, so I don't.
Okay. Steam DB is where I go for all that.
24-hour peak is 258.
Okay. Yeah. So close to it. That being said, at least, okay. So you were using Steam DB says the 6 hours ago was their all-time peak at 264,000. I don't know which one is more accurate, but doesn't matter. The game's doing well from a player base point of view. People want to play this game, and that says a lot.
That 258 is with the servers having intermittent issues still.
Yes.
The servers are not all the way fixed. So there's hundreds of thousands potentially that are, or maybe not hundreds, but thousands of players that are not able to be on that number.
Yeah. Yeah. And the short of it is kind of what we've said, what has followed Last Epoch ever since it, was in early access is this is the midway point between Diablo 4 on one pole and Path of Exile on the other pole. It's a little bit more than Diablo 4 in terms of what you can do, but it's nowhere as crazy as Path of Exile with its tons of billions of different systems within the game.
It is far more approachable than Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Far more.
And I think that's why it's probably doing so well. It's a fun game. I've put another 40 hours into it. About 35 hours into it since launch.
I'm on hardcore character 4.
Nice. What? How? I guess maybe the opening question is, and I've probably asked you this before on the show, but why hardcore in this game and not in other games? Is it because you understand the systems?
It's because I feel more at home in this, and I feel it's easier to find things that work in this. So it's not nearly as intimidating. If I were to do hardcore in PoE, and especially try to not use a build guide, I would know that I would almost guaranteed get killed because my build would be terrible or not optimized or something along those lines. I know that it would be horrible. This game, however, it's so much easier to do well because the game guides you so much better that there's still a huge amount you can do, and the amount of builds is vast, but you feel much more like you're able to get a better grasp about what's going on. And, you can sit down with a new skill and look over all the trees and see like where the synergies are and see, okay, this skill autocast this skill, so I can use that. This skill, these 3 skills can go into this element, which I can then chain with that basic attack. Perfect. I'll do all that. So you can, it's far easier to plan and implement than I have found to do in PoE.
That makes sense.
And I like that a lot about it. I keep getting this feeling in Last Epoch, which I love, and that is this feeling of I'm about 60% through where I want to be. I just need 3 more points in this skill, 4 more points in this skill, and 1 more point in that skill. And then I'll get this awesome synergy that I just planned out. That's going to be great. And, stuff like that. And it's really, really cool how that works. Like a great example is the Void Knight class. So, you get that skill right there with the slice. Well, it's like, cool. Okay, I see that that's a slice skill. And normally it just slices. Well, it's like, oh, cool. I just saw that node that turns it into a movement skill. Okay, that can replace this skill. Great. So I'll open with that. Oh, and here's one that makes it so my main skill crits automatically if I hit them with the slice skill. Oh, cool. So let me go get that skill and let me make that skill out, and do stuff like that. So it's much more on rails than PoE. PoE just gives you everything and it's like, have fun. This game is more structured and it's more guided. So it means you don't have to know everything to like actually come up with cool synergies, actually figure all that stuff out. Instead of looking at a passive tree and having to figure out, oh, that node in the top left and this node, which are literally 90 nodes apart, those might go well together. In this one, it's like, cool, you have all these little trees that you can sort through and you can much clearer and more easily see. The search function is a little easier because you have less that you're looking at.
Yeah.
So it's just more approachable. It's far more approachable.
Yeah.
And people are going to hate me saying this, but I'm going to say it again. I think PoE could learn so much from Last Epoch, in terms of the new player experience, in terms of making their incredible systems to give player options to make it more bite-sized. There are ways that Path of Exile, I feel, could double, triple, quadruple the amount of new players it gets every season if they were to learn some things that Last Epoch has.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is
you have seen PoE 2? I think we all have big hopes for PoE 2 doing this, but nobody has seen what PoE 2 is doing with it yet. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, and I mean, you preface the statement that that it is a loaded statement, and I think it is. Like you could have a lot to say with that. I think my take on it is that like PoE 2 will prove or disprove this. I don't think the PoE devs care about that, and like they have a vision for their game, and I'm not defending it at all. That I guess it sounds like I am, but they have a vision for their game, and they want it to be that level of complicated because they want that level of
they're
choice.
Tarkoving it.
Yeah, they want that level of choice for the game that they're creating. There's nothing wrong with that, and I agree with you that if they were taking some of the systems from Last Epoch, it would 100% be more approachable, and they would probably make more money from that. I just don't know if they ever. Ultimately, what I'm saying is I don't think PoE fucking cares about that. Right?
No, I mean,
I agree, and here's the thing: they are.
Some people like Chutes and Ladders, and some people like Cones of Dunshire. It's like
Nice reference. I made a Cones of Dunshire reference yesterday. My man. Okay, thank you. Somebody asked if I played board games, and I was like, the only one I've ever gotten into is Cones of Dunshire. But anyway, and yeah, I think you're right. It's interesting because, like, the line that they need, that the PoE is walking is, how do we cater to all, they already have a thriving community that likes PoE exactly how it is.
Yeah.
So how do they keep that community happy while also making it more approachable, which would bring in tens, if not hundreds of thousands of new people? Because I can tell you, for every person that likes and plays PoE, there are 10 that will tell you that game intimidates them and they're not going to touch it because it's not approachable.
Absolutely.
So it's that kind of situation. But interestingly enough, one of my former mods, B Cuttigan, actually said, and I'd love to get the quote on this, but he said PoE 2 devs have already stated that last Epoch has some good enough systems that they're changing their game a bit due to it.
Huh. Okay. That's good to hear.
Yeah, because if you could whisper me like where you saw that, just so I could see the exact language, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
That's not what I expected, the line, but it's welcomed.
Yeah,
like I'm glad they are.
Yeah. The line there, that I really hope that Grinding Gear Games decides to walk, because they obviously haven't really yet. The line there is, how do you keep your hardcore core happy and content while also putting in systems that cater to people that have never played your game but want to?
Sure.
So the thing is, how do you help those people without making the game easier? Because the hardcore folks don't want it to be easier. There's the same folks that, scream and cry every time new QOL is put in the game, which is fine. I mean, it's the same thing that happens in Tarkov. There's things in Tarkov that are specifically made to be convoluted because that is how they want the game to be. And the same is with Path of Exile, and that's fine. Their game, they do whatever they want. But yeah, so it's an interesting line, and it'll be very cool to see if PoE 2 walks it better than PoE 1.
Yeah, I would say right out of the gate, one thing that I wish PoE would steal from this straight up would be the in-game item filter. I think that alone makes this game a billion times more approachable.
Whew.
Because it is a fundamentally easier thing to grasp when it is in-game, and when you can just go and check a bunch of variables and understand what those variables are and what you're actually doing to the filter, than in PoE where it's here's a tertiary website where you have to go and this guy works for us, but it's not built into our game, right? There's a huge difference.
The fact that at any point in this game,
pachinko vibe, it's like, we all know you take this and go across the street and do this thing. No one really talks about it, but it's kind of, it's cool.
Yeah.
The fact that at any point in this game you can decide, oh, I need more of this resist, or oh, I want more of that stat to break down, and then literally in less than 15 seconds you have that in your loot filter marked and ready to go. That is awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. Maybe one of the best things I think the game does. I think end game wise, where have you gotten with your hardcore?
My max character was he died at 47. I unfortunately stood in the Venn diagram of doom. Yeah, I thought I could tank. I had this really nice thing going on with this character, actually, where I was gaining back so much health per hit that I was feeling pretty confident that I could, wail on a couple bosses and get them. Well, unfortunately, while I was wailing, they both cast their ground AoEs, and it made this pretty little Venn diagram right under my feet where I was standing in the center of all of them. And by the time I realized I was getting hit, I was dead. I don't know if you have the rip clip, but it was quick. So I made a Falconer. I actually rerolled a Falconer.
Oh.
And I'm still trying to figure that class out. I don't, I'm going completely blind without a build, so I'm still I haven't even gotten all my abilities yet. I'm still figuring out how I want to approach it and stuff. But I mean, that's half the fun for me. Every time I get a new skill, one of the first things I do is open it up. And I'm all right, let's look at all the keystones. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see how it synergizes, the whole and that's been a blast. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. Really cool.
Endgame's been pretty fun, I would say.
One thing I want to shout this game out for, I play this game with controller.
Yep.
I play this game with controller. Anytime I get to town, I flip over to mouse and keyboard so I can do my inventory management and stuff with the mouse and keyboard. But the second I'm back out in the field, dude, controller in this game rocks. It rocks. It feels so fluid. Everything works. The auto targeting system is a little loose at times. It's not quite as responsive as I'd like. But outside of that, it's great.
Do you have, how does it handle ground, like AoE targets? Do you have any of those on your class? Because that might be a class thing where it doesn't work so great
I
with
think
others.
I might have some, but what you do is anytime you're moving a direction, then an enemy gets a red outline around them, and they become the target of anything you do.
Oh, okay.
So there's not really like, and everything happens so fast, you don't really have to think about it. I don't know if I just haven't gotten any specific ground target abilities, but everything I do just basically like auto targets where I'm kind of looking. You can use the right stick as a mouse cursor.
Oh, okay.
So there may be some way to aim with that, but I feel like that would be super clunky. I'm pretty sure it's doing auto targeting, and the auto targeting seems to work great.
Cool. Okay.
In most cases, there's a few times that happen relatively regularly where if you're auto targeting something one direction, if you snap your controller the other direction and immediately cast, a lot of times it'll still cast in the direction you were facing, because it's not where you're tilting the character, it's where your character's facing, and there's all sorts of little things that will lag your character turning around, like if they're finishing an animation or something. So there are definitely times when stuff's hot and heavy, and like I'm trying to be really quick about things, I'll not be able to target where I want to do exactly. And if two enemies are kind of like at the very top right of the screen and you're trying to hit one of them, it's a little wonky as well, obviously. But that's all like standard auto targeting stuff. You know, nothing unique to this game.
It still works for the most part.
Yeah, it feels great. Oh, it still works, dude. Like I said, this is the first ARPG of this type I've ever played and enjoyed with a controller.
Yeah, it's definitely a big boon for them, especially. I would assume they plan on launching this at console at some point, so it makes sense. Did you get to? I guess you wouldn't have, just going off of your level, but did you experience, or have you experienced anything about the two different merchant guilds that you can choose?
No. And I'm playing hardcore, so I can't wait to get to that system, because apparently it's a huge boon to hardcore SSF players when you get to it, because you can like start.
To the loose understanding that I have is there's two different merchant. I have interacted with it, but not much. Two different merchant guilds that you can interact with. One is basically like the auction house, and the other is like the Solace Found, where it basically gives you a pretty significant buff to just the drops and the percentage of drops. And you can also like target different things with these prophecies, where you can go in after killing a bunch of mobs, you get like a prophecy currency, and you can target like the prophecy of, if I kill 6 of these specific types of mobs or this boss or complete this objective, then it will drop these type of items. And so I think someone was saying in my chat yesterday that it's like a 70-30 split in terms of people choosing the SSF over the auction house faction. And I could totally understand why. And frankly, it's because I think the auction house system fucking sucks. It is not a good... I do not like how they have... The system is basically every item type has an NPC that only functions with that type of item. So like two-handed swords, one-handed swords, wands. And you have to go to one of 20x NPCs to interact with that auction house for that item type. And unless I missed it, because I was offline and I was trying to like figure it out, I don't think you can just type the name of an item to search for it. You have to search using the different parameters of an item. And so the whole thing seems very fucking convoluted, to where I just don't want to interact with that at all. And I just will use the SSF stuff. So it took, the unfortunate thing is I didn't know that was happening. And I got to like rank 6 or 7 with the merchant guild. And then I went and interacted with it and was like, oh, this sucks.
Chat is saying you definitely can search by name.
Okay. Then maybe I missed that field in the thing.
Okay.
But you can, but it's hidden in drop downs. Okay.
But I was gonna say, even then it clearly wasn't obvious enough that you could.
Yeah.
So like okay.
Yeah. And so I just went to SSF and was like, great, this is fine. I like this system. Like, I'm getting more drops. I'm able to target what I want to drop. And I think that's probably why this split is 30-70. If that is a true statistic for it. That's why in that case. And then in terms of the end game, I'm level 88 or 87.
Are you doing hardcore?
No. I'm doing softcore. I guess softcore trade, but I'm not trading. But I can.
Softcore.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird naming system to that whole thing. But yeah, it's softcore. And it's been fun. Like I'm in the end game. There's there's kind of Uber bosses, but there's not. If you want like PoE equivalents, there's not like an Uber shaper that I'm aware of. And then there's all these system with keys and different keys that unlock different engate like arenas and I don't know. I haven't interacted with that system at all, but I think that's how you do a lot of the item development at the end of the game, where you can take a like purple item, and every item is capped at 4 stats unless you go and interact with these other systems. And then you can take the crafting system if you have a stat and like push that off to where it can't be interacted with anymore, but it stays on the item, so you can push it to a higher tier and yada 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 yada. That's like the end game is a bunch of item development stuff, which is cool. Like I'm glad those systems exist. I don't know how much longer I'm going to interact with that. I'm kind of at the point where it's needing to interact with that or make a new character. We'll see what happens.
1.1, they're adding at least one pinnacle boss.
Yes, yeah,
pinnacle boss system. Yeah, interesting.
What are you saying, Zeke?
I heard you guys comparing it to PoE, but how is it compared to Diablo?
Well, that's the thing. It's between
that's a really
the
good
two.
Question.
Yeah, it's between the two.
It actually is.
I'm just trying to chime in here. I don't know what the fuck. I feel like I'm at a fucking lecture that I walked into on accident.
Yeah, D4 bad.
Like,
first off, D4 bad.
Is this cooking 101? Oh, astrophysics. Oh, and you locked the door.
You can't leave. You're stuck here.
What do stars do?
Yeah.
What is stars do?
The systems are all very obscure without in terms of their naming, for sure.
I'm gonna tweet that out with no context and see what happens. What is stars do?
What is stars do?
No, we're workshopping this tweet. What does stars do?
No, it's already done.
God damn it! I was gonna say you gotta add in the name, Zeke's favorite name to say as well.
What
does stars
do? Period. Rab, nose jab, or whatever it was.
I think you should just respond to his tweet with that, Zeke. And that's what stars do.
That's it. And then I'll just respond to that with a nod.
This is why we're not social media managers, chat.
This is why. Somebody already responds to the tweet. They said, "It be."
Very wise.
That is what is stars do? It be.
Zeke, and all joking aside, I think you would actually enjoy this game. Like it is.
When you said it's fun on controller,
it's fun on controller, but also there are like meta builds. There are builds that are stronger than other builds. But did you get a response?
Is he high or something?
Makes sense. There are meta builds, but like,
absolutely,
if you see a skill that you just like using, Zeke, you can totally make that build that skill the center of your build and pretty much be able to do most things in the game and be fine.
Okay.
And so it's like there is. You could totally go to maxroll.com and be like, what is the strongest build? But if you like fireballs like I did, man, you can make fireballs do a lot. Like you can make fireballs have multiple fireballs when you shoot fireballs. You can make fireballs also like become heat-seeking missiles, like a guided arrow from Diablo 2. And like you do a lot.
You're peeling the right banana there, because it's one of the bars for entry for games like this, for me personally, is the things I think are cool. I want them to be viable.
Yeah, everything's viable.
I want them to be like that's. I think that's where Hades went right. Like no matter what weapon you choose to start a run with, it's a viable run with the chosen weapon. Like sure, there's some that jive better, but like you can pick whatever you want. If you like being the shield person or the spear or whatever, you can do runs and it'll be good.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want for most of these games. And it seems like a lot of like the PoEs and D4s, like you have to
play the meta skill. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to in this.
To be clear though, This game does have metas.
Yes.
Every class has its best builds. Any game like this is always going to have that kind of stuff. But there is a huge amount of variety in terms of how you can get there. The 1.0 means there's still a lot of stuff that's like kind of unexplored. So maybe you can stumble on something that's actually pretty cool. So there's a lot of potential still, even though it holds that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why comparing to another game, that's why I fell off of Magic like a long time ago, because it's like 3 decks with a new standard thing.
Metagames always become the thing. Yeah.
Oh, it is also wildly easy to respec in this game.
Yes.
Which is really nice as well. Like everything can be rolled back or respec pretty much.
Apart from your
outside
mastery.
of your mastery selection. Yes.
But like,
but even then, it takes 2 hours, if even, to get to your mastery selection. So you could, if you really are feeling bad about it, you could redo it.
So Ko, since you died on one of your other characters in hardcore, 3 other characters. Okay. Do you start the story from the very beginning?
Very beginning. I'm doing HC SSF Honest Man.
So
role play.
Your character. What that means is you're not taking items.
I delete my character on death.
So you're not able to like get an item that's in your bank from that. Okay, gotcha.
When I die, that character gets deleted. So for me,
do you know? And this might be something we ask chat. Do you know that when you complete the campaign, if you have to go through the campaign again, or how does that work? Like what? Basically, what I'm saying is the PoE equivalent. Do you have to do all the acts over again? You can skip the campaign mostly if you make it far enough. There's an alternate leveling route.
Campaign does have major shortcuts.
Interesting. That alone, I think, is
apparently there's multiple times you can skip the campaign. There's multiple shortcuts.
They need to advertise the fuck out of that, because that right there is why people don't play PoE and are waiting for PoE 2. Is because they don't want to go through the acts.
The big thing though is a lot of and this is where this is a whole different discussion. I don't know if we have time for this today, but when you start comparing the end game of PoE and the end game of LE, it becomes a little more tumultuous, because PoE, has Last Epoch talked about how they're going to do the seasonal stuff? Are they just copying PoE?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. They might have, but I haven't seen that
and everything.
Yeah,
I know that we select seasonal characters and stuff. Yeah. But one of the things about LE is that and we were talking about this yesterday, especially with some of my friends that are really hard PoEers. There's a lot of people in PoE that are not really jumping to LE yet, because that end game is not quite as developed as they want it. There's not quite enough to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't kind of sign up with the big mechanic that's in LE now, then the guy I was talking to yesterday, he's like, I don't really feel the need to level a bunch of characters. They feel like, even though this is a 1.0 release, it still has some cook time to get its maps, which is when the PoE stuff really started waking up. It hasn't. A lot of folks don't think it's quite found its stride yet for its end game. Not saying it's not going to get there. But the 1.0 release is a little thin in terms of a super fleshed out end game. It's there, and there is an end game for those that haven't played it. It's there for sure.
I mean, it's so hard to compare a 10-year-old game like PoE to this, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I think a lot of the PoE players know that it's going to keep getting developed and get that end game eventually, but we'll see.
Yeah. That's not to say, I would be very careful when it comes. How do I say this without sounding like don't fucking listen to those guys? It's one thing if a PoE player expects a game to be hundreds of hours for a character. A normal person that plays games for fun doesn't necessarily what you have in Last Epoch right now. If you're someone that has a couple hours a day, there's a lot of game to play. Don't be dissuaded for that, because
and I think a keyword
PoE player is going to be 400 hours for a character. You don't need that.
And a keyword here is endless. Games don't need to be endless.
Yes.
Absolutely. There can be I totally see what you're saying with that.
Yeah.
It will be interesting though, because I think one of the reasons that LE is so popular is in how it differentiates from what's already available. So it'll be interesting to see if they carry that mantra into their development. Are they going to try to flesh LE out to match the offerings of PoE and other ARPGs they like? Even going back to, some of the implementation from Grim Dawn, you could say, or are they going to try to continue innovating on that and, again, be a different offering instead of kind of a more of the same different offering?
Yeah.
I know I'm sold. I'll be following the hell out of this game. I can't
totally,
wait to see the roadmaps and stuff. Yeah.
ARPG players, if you are the quintessential ARPG player that still wants to play Diablo 4, you're going to have Diablo 4, Last Epoch, and PoE, and then eventually PoE 2 to kind of jump through all the different seasonal things. And if they can get that rhythm down to where they're not constantly competing with one another, you're set for a couple years, man. You've got all the ARPG goodness to bounce from game to game to game as those put out seasonal content. So it's a good time to be an ARPG player, and kind of just in general, a good time to be a gamer. There's tons of survival games. There's tons of nuanced games like Pacific Drive. You've got this type of stuff just coming out of the woodwork. It's good. Balatro, if you're looking to get into that stuff. It's been a fun month. I'm curious if 2024 can keep up that pace. I don't think it can.
I know. No.
I'm waiting for the quote unquote dead zone, right?
We're still seeing 2023 overlap. We're still seeing like the projects that were started Ellie was in early access 4 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
Sons of the Forest was in access for multiple years. So it's this is still the 2023 overlap. That we're in right now.
Yeah.
A lot of the projects also were delayed.
Sure. Yeah.
We still have some projects that are delayed around the corner.
That is true. After Final Fantasy this week, really the next big release that I could think of is Dragon's Dogma at the end of March.
82.
Yeah.
And of course we're saying that now and watch our March explode with
March could explode totally.
Oh, I know, right? Absolutely.
I don't think any of us knew that February was going to be as crazy as it is.
Was Sons of the Forest only 1 year?
Yeah, it launched a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, they were pretty quick through.
Wonder how long they were working on it before that.
Through its early access. So
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Darkest Dungeon 2? No, Dragon's Dogma 2.
Dragon's Dogma, yeah. And also Rise of the Ronin, which comes out around the same day, which is that the PS5 Koei Tecmo thing that actually looks kind of fun. So. There is also
Zeke's favorite game is coming out in March too.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this, Zeke. What do you think we're talking about?
I think you're referring to Alone in the Dark, probably.
Oh,
is that the one?
I was gonna say Expeditions, the new SnowRunner game.
I was going for Alone in the Dark.
Coming out too, man. March, we eating good March. Whoa,
dude! The amount of people, by the way, on this past Monday, you did the SnowRunner rerun. I had so many people joining my stream go, "Oh my God, JP Zeke's playing SnowRunners again. How did you get him to do that?" I'm like, guys, it's a rerun. It literally says in the title, "Rerun SnowRunners."
Nobody reads the titles. Nobody.
Yeah, it's true. No one reads the titles. No one reads it. They're just like, "Oh my God, he's playing it again." How much money did you pay him to do this? I didn't pay him anything, guys. It's a rerun. It's a rerun. What else?
If you do read the titles, you are a special person.
You're the 1%er. You're the 1%.
I know, you really are.
Yeah. What else have we been playing in the past week? I've been doing Final Fantasy VII Remake, just playing through that again on kind of the YouTube only streams. I had forgotten how emotional that game was. Like when it comes to a lot of the story content, and I'm about to get to the end again where I've enjoyed the game immensely more than I did on first playthrough. I have no idea why. Chat thinks it's because COVID was starting right when this game came out. And that might have been a big component to it because that game launched the month that lockdown started. And that could have been a pretty big impact on why I didn't like it.
It's because it's even though you were going to play it either way.
Yeah.
Now you have nothing else to do.
Right.
It's like you're playing it because that's it, not because you really that's what I want to do. It's because what else the fuck am I going to do?
It's been 4 years and that might be why I don't remember it, but there's so many things in that game. It's like, I forgot this was a thing. I forgot this happened. Like I don't recall any of this. It's probably because COVID where you weren't doing anything else in the world except talking about COVID at that time and thinking about COVID because the fucking world shut down.
And that's around the time where we had no idea where things were going.
Right.
I mean, that was
the world shut down. It was weird.
Oh yeah.
That was unprecedented.
There was like there wasn't even a light at the end of the tunnel at that point.
Yeah. You didn't know what the fuck was going on. And so that's why I think that might be why I don't remember it. But I'm playing through it. It's fun. Enjoying it. Obviously, don't need to talk about it because the game's been out 4 years and we've talked to death about it. But excited for Rebirth. That's pretty much that, and all the other stuff that I've listed is where I've been.
What day does that come out?
29th.
Thursday? Is it 29th? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Thursday.
I'm definitely doing a big charity stream that morning.
Oh, really?
From 8 to 12.
A charity stream where you're playing Final Fantasy VII Remake.
No, funny enough, I keep getting asked, like, hey, you're going to do Final Fantasy on your charity stream? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely
It's not the best game for it.
I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to just be distracted the whole time. Like, no, we're going to find something else to play for the charity stream. Maybe we'll do Survivors or some low key, I can focus on chat and what's going on thing and not, I need to be paying attention to story things. And did you see that wisp behind that guy? It looks kind of like that dude from the last scene of that guy.
It's a fucking plot ghost, Cole. It's a plot ghost.
I know. It's a plot ghost. I don't want to miss any of it.
Why don't you, like, you do what you tell other, like, dev teams do, like, why don't you just bump it a week? Just bump it a week. Just bump your charity thing a week.
Bump the charity thing a week? I actually can't. Because, like, the charity I'm doing with AHA, they're doing, like, this big thing in February, and I'm, like, the last guy. So, like, I literally cannot move it.
It's for what charity?
American Heart Association.
American
Haley
Heart
Nick,
Association.
If you remember, she used to be a streamer, and she's all that. So Haley Nick is actually the person that runs that now. She is the Zach Witten, if you know Zach, of AHA.
Awesome.
So I've been talking to her, and I'm helping with that. So it's
great.
a great. AHA's awesome. So it's going to be a big goal. So I need everyone there, and please bring your money.
Awesome.
I don't ask for money often, but I will for charity.
I think I saw.
Give all your money there.
Jesse Cox is doing some stuff with them as well. So
cool.
Yeah,
great.
They're doing. I think that already happened, but there's a lot of different charity stuff with them. Seems like February is a month you said where they're pushing for that. So
yeah, it's a big month for them, and they're doing a lot of little charity events and stuff. So
cool.
They're doing it all month.
Cool. Is that just on Thursday for you?
Yeah, it's from 8 to 12 on Thursday, 8 a.m. to 12.
4-hour block, 4 hour stint. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome
and
stuff.
Just a little shout out. If you do want to donate and you will not be there, we will have a link available earlier. So
great.
But it does end at 12 on that.
So
the goals and stuff we're doing.
You won't be able to donate after the fact?
Not to you will obviously to HA, but when 12 hits, like I have a list of goals for the charity event. So those goals stop at 12 on the 29th.
Got it. Okay. 12 Eastern, just so.
I ain't shaving this beard off for nothing. No.
Oh, the beard's going.
Beard's going. We got cosplays, beards, computer giveaways. Like, I haven't done a charity.
It's a goal for the charity stream for the beard to go.
Goal for the charity stream is the beard to go. Kuromi-chan's making an appearance, getting a new chem for my puppy. Lots of goals. Lots of goals. We'll also be completing a goal that I owe the community during the stream. So it's a lot going on.
Which one is that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. That's that. That's happening Thursday. It explicitly states on Rainmaker, which is the portal for folks to get keys, there will be no early access. I'm curious if they stick to that or if people will be playing that game on Wednesday.
For which game?
The Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, wait. So you have a key and an embargo?
No, if you just go to rainmaker.gg, it says keys will be released February 29th. No early access. Please note that this is a hugely popular title. There's selection based on channel performance, blah, blah, blah. So
yeah, I got asked today, like, will you play earlier? And I no one's told me.
Yeah.
I guess that's the answer right there.
Rainmaker that's what I'm going by. I haven't heard otherwise.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen a couple dev interviews on a handful of channels. But yeah, I have not seen or heard anything about early access for that. So it seems like Thursday is the day. Chat saying preload on Tuesday for digital. Yeah. I don't even know if I think I got the collectors for that. I don't know if that's shipped out yet either. So Got to figure that stuff out. By the way, did you get your Elden Ring collectors? I know you messaged me about that, Co. Is that?
I did.
Okay.
Or the second I saw the link, while I was in the process of ordering it, I was like, "Oh, JP's gonna want to see this."
Yeah, I got it that morning as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they didn't sell out. I was kind of surprised. I guess people didn't want to spend $400 on a DLC.
Not only that, the kind of the helmet's not super iconic yet.
True.
Like, I have a feeling if it were a more iconic thing, it would have been like Ramadan's helmet or something.
Yeah.
No, what's his name? Rodan?
Rodon. I don't. Rodon. Let's not do this.
I totally just said Ramadan, which is not his name. That's a completely different thing. Rodin or whatever. But yeah, Roadhouse. I think his name.
Old Ramalama Ding Dong.
Old Ramalama Ding Dong. That's right. Yes. I like how someone in chat was just like, Robbie!
Oh man. Yeah. You might be right, but they are the collectors was like $189 and the mask was about that as well. There's two different items for a $40. We didn't talk about that at all when we talked about Elden Ring, but it is a $40 DLC. That no one is really.
I really hope it's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. No one's arguing about that yet. When that game comes out, they're going to be like, "This game better be fucking big." And if it's not big, there already is. Okay.
Oh yeah,
it makes sense.
There's definitely people that are like, if they're but instead of like, "Oh my god, $40 DLC, what a ripoff," it's more like, "Oh my god, $40 DLC, can't wait for it to be huge," right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Like it's instead of people being offended by the price, they're having their expectations set. And in some cases, getting even more excited. In fact, I remember seeing one guy replying to a tweet that's like, they wouldn't charge $40 if this wasn't something huge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're looking at that price and actually getting more excited instead of frustrated, So we'll have to see if that actually rings true.
It's pretty rare that FromSoft like ever disappoints, right?
That's the thing I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
they've got a lot of trust.
I'll be more surprised if there's not a lot of good content in the Elden Ring DLC than if there was, to be honest. I feel the same way about the Elden Ring DLC as I did when people were starting to tell me the reviews for Rebirth, where people were like, "Man, have you seen the Rebirth reviews? Oh man, they're amazing!" And I was like, "I know." I'd be more surprised if you were telling me that they weren't,
that they were bad. Yeah,
yeah. That's how I feel about FromSoft games. Which is, speaks highly to the devs. Don't get me wrong, but. It's a good bar to set.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that and that base game was already so fucking huge that like $60 seems kind of generous for the amount of content compared to other things for how big that game was. So yeah, maybe even too big. That's right. For a lot of people, that game, people didn't even finish it.
Zeke was just talking about it's so big. He's like,
yeah, he's questioning.
Like, wondering if he's going to play again. Yeah, I know. Like, it's that big. Yeah.
Well, what a game. It's been cool seeing people play that after that DLC announcement, people jumping into it for the first time. Always a good time when people walk out of that first like elevator and see the world and think like, holy shit. Because I think
oh my god,
God had a name.
Get me all excited again. I'm gonna do a new build. I'm not gonna do a mage build like I always do. I'm gonna do a melee build and really, really hate myself for it.
Who had a name for that?
That mage build was super fun for me.
I think chat just named it like the step out moment. I think is what he called it.
Yeah.
He's talked about crafting that moment in his games.
Oh, like, Todd Howard did.
Todd Howard, yep.
Yeah.
Where, in Skyrim and Starfield both have them.
They both have it.
Times, but yeah. I will agree that Elden Ring step out moment is all time.
One of the best of all time is like bests, like plural of all time are the BioShock, BioShock Hallelujah moments.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
3, 2,
riding
1,
up.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Like, get chills every time I think about it.
Riding down that elevator the first time in BioShock is one of the most iconic 2-minute things in gaming for me. It will always be.
Yeah. I remember I showed that to my dad when he didn't really understand video games. And that scene, I had played it before and I was like, "Dad, you got to see this. You'll finally get it. You'll finally get it." And sure enough, he's like, "That's like a movie. We're watching a movie. This is crazy."
See, you picked a good one. You know what I showed my dad the first time? Hey, Dad, look at this. I'm waiting at a dock for a boat, just like in real life in EverQuest. How cool is this? Oh, look, here comes the boat. Chunk, 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 chunk. Look, I can get on it.
That's great, son. Down. I'm going to go mow the lawn because you're not doing it.
No, he literally goes, wait, you had to wait for the boat in the game? And I was like, yeah, it comes every 15 minutes. And he's like, it's not, what? He was so confused.
I could see
like,
that.
Why would you wait? Like, why would you do that?
That is kind of a mind-breaking point. Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I was just sitting there the whole time like, yeah, you actually have to wait. It's so cool.
Oh, God. It's like,
oh, my God.
I got to go. I got to get out of here.
I remember the first time I introduced my dad to D&D, and I ran like a little mini campaign for him on stream.
Oh, yeah?
And he was like, well, what can I do? And I'm like, what can you do? You can do anything you can do in the physical world. Just pretend you're there and think of what you can do. It's like, I mean, what, I can fly? Like, no, you can't fly because you can't fly in real life. You don't have the ability to fly. But so I can stab that guy? Yes, you may. You absolutely may stab that guy, but there's going to be repercussions. Oh, maybe I don't stab that guy. There you go. Now you're RPing, buddy.
That's D&D.
It's like it makes you wonder, like, how many times has he gone through that line of thinking in real life?
I know, right?
Can I stab that guy?
About stabbing people, Dad?
Yeah. Wait, when I get arrested?
I don't regularly carry around a dagger.
Oh, God. Let's do some shout-outs. We're 5 minutes out. We can wrap it up a little early. Next week, I think... Are we doing a show next week, or are we just going to play more Final Fantasy? We could probably do a show and just talk. Zeke, are you playing Final Fantasy at all? You're like out on Final Fantasy. Okay.
If we do just want to do a catch-up next week, that's not... I mean, I'm taking Sunday mornings off now, so my timing around the Final Fantasy release is going to be really low.
Yeah.
Because I also have some stuff that Friday. So I'm just saying, if we do want to just play Final Fantasy, I'm kind of okay with that.
Okay. Yeah, well...
So whatever you want to do.
Have a conversation in the middle of the week.
I'd love to have a Sunday morning off. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not really a lot coming out between now and then.
Yes.
So, and we're not going to want to talk about that because it'll be super spoilery. So, be a good time for a break if you want to take one.
Yeah. One of us, I'm going to do it right now. Hey guys, let's talk middle of the week about show. So we don't forget in our Discord channel, because otherwise we will. Shout out, Zeke, please go. What do you got?
I will. What's up, everybody? My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, or Ezekiel the Third, all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok. I broadcast every day at 10 a.m. Pacific, except Mondays, which I take off. Directly after this show, I'm in a role-playing show, Blade Runner, in the Blade Runner universe on twitch.tv/Table Story. If you like tabletop role-playing stuff, it's a pretty good show. Come drop on by. As far as what I'm doing, I have not decided like what my new like core game is going to be. I've got so many games on the shelf to like check out. Maybe Pacific Drive, because that's like, it sounds awesome. And maybe that's what we start on Tuesday. We'll see. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Oh, thank JP for being co-host. Awesome to have a conversation with you. And even though you guys have those moments where you talk about ARPGs, I'm still here. I'm still listening. I love nerds talking about nerds.
You're still locked in the classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You can't leave. You can't go anywhere. Go do some shout outs. What you got going on?
You can just be like me and just open a game up. Anyway, thank you so much to Zeke and JP. It is a pleasure as always. I am currently knee-deep in Last Epoch. We're also going to be continuing Pacific Drive tomorrow afternoon. I'm also getting in an hour-ish of Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in the evenings. If you were wanting to follow that, you can come up on that. And then we've got all sorts of other fun things coming. And again, big shout-out and final reminder as I whip my hand forward and turn off my side monitor by hitting the power button by accident, that we are doing a big charity stream on Thursday the 29th from 8 to 12. We are setting a very lofty goal. I've not done a charity stream in a long time, and we are coming back, and we are going to try to raise $100,000 in 4 hours. If this actually works, I'm going to be baffled. But we are setting a pie-in-the-sky goal, and we would love for you to come help us. It's a fantastic cause. I do not ask people to do this. I barely even mentioned Twitch Prime, but I will say I would love for you to bring your wallets on Thursday and help us support this charity. So again, it'll be 8 a.m. ET on Thursday the 29th, and we hope to see you there. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you all next week.
Probably. Maybe not.
Maybe. Or the week after, at least.
Yeah. We'll be here most Sundays, 1 p.m. Eastern is what he's trying to say. Yep. That's it. The VOD will get up, youtube.com/JP if you want to watch that, or you can find it on podcast platforms where you get your podcast at. And that's that. We'll see you guys. Have a good rest of your week. If we don't see you next week, happy Rebirth launch to everyone. And good luck with those plot ghosts, if they're still out there.
Happy Rebirth, yes, one and all.
Yes, happy Rebirthness. That's right. What?